All right, guys, I think we got a banger lined up for you. I hope by the time we get to the end of the broadcast, you will agree. Good evening, Blake. I hope you're watching because you're going to be the subject of the first part of today's show. Other Blake, I hope you're watching. You'll be the subject of the last part of the show. Guys, welcome in. I hope you had a good time. Let me explain what happened Friday real quickly before we get going with the content. Well, let me explain what happened Friday. X sucks. That's all that happens. That's all I got to say. I don't have anything else to say. I tried to open a space on my computer. Learned you can't do that. You have to do it on your phone. I'm not running an X space on my phone, X. I'll use YouTube from now on if I need to do something with members of the jury, guys. We're going to have a lot of fun today. My opening is going to be about Mr. Sneff, Mr. Blake Neff Speed. Because I think he's a despicable, wretched human being. He's a little troll mouse of a man. I don't even want to call him a man. He's a mouse of a little child. And he, I think he's gotten caught, frankly. I think he's gotten caught still up to his old wretched behavior. I think by the time we get done with today's show, you'll agree with me. Now, I preference everything I'm going to do today with the word allegedly. I need to get that out of the way. All of this is just opinion based on publicly available information. I've not contacted anybody. I've not gotten any super secret information. So that's number one today. Number two, this is important. So I think everybody needs to glue in here with me. Hear me carefully here. We're going to cover a lot of airplane movements today over the course of the day. None of it is prospective. Meaning I have no idea where people will be traveling in the future. We will be looking backwards, sometimes a year or more backwards, but we will be looking backwards, not forward. There's no danger to anyone for telling you where they've been in the past. For example, I went on a work retreat in August of 2024. We went up to Massachusetts. If you told someone I went to Massachusetts in August of 2024, I'm in no present danger. There's nothing they can do with that information to harm me in any way. So that's number two. Everything we're going to talk about is in the past. Number three, everything we're going to talk about in the past has to be caveated with, we believe these things to be true. We can't say with specificity. And then number four, I always have to say this. We here believe in free speech. We do not believe in violence. We don't believe in harassment. We don't believe in, following people, confronting people. Leave that to others to take care of. Everyone on this program needs to just watch from afar, enjoy the spectacle of everything going on right now. Learn, do your own independent research, post to X, post to YouTube, post to Instagram, post to Facebook, post to TikTok, post to all your different sites that you guys use. Fire up a live stream on Twitch or Kick or Rumble. Do whatever it is you feel like you need to do. But under no circumstances would I ever recommend, nor do I think anyone should, confront any of these people, call any of these people, email any of these people, and certainly not confront them face-to-face or try to intercept their transport in any way whatsoever. So with all those caveats in mind, you could probably see where I'm heading. You guys remember right before Charlie Kirk passed away, he had been on a trip to Korea. He left on September 3rd. They returned the afternoon, maybe early evening of September 7th. So from the 3rd to the 7th, they were out of the country. They were in Korea. On the trip were people like, I think Brian Harpole was there. I think Dan Flood might have been there. Blake Neff certainly was there. We'll talk about that tonight. Mikey McCoy was there. We'll see pictures of him there tonight. And then they came in on the 7th. Now, I know for a fact that they were in Los Angeles before 7:41 p.m. I can't tell you how I know that, because that would violate all kinds of source requirements that I've been given. But I know for a 100% fact, 7:41 p.m. Pacific time, they were on the ground in Los Angeles. Here's why that matters. Something happened on September 7th, and we're going to talk about it today. It was something that I believe is 100% tied to Blake Neff and may have even been Blake Neff himself, allegedly, in my opinion. But first, let's recap why we're talking about this at all. I want to pull up a screen here. I don't usually pull stuff up during my opening. I consider this sort of an opening, but I want to pull this up. This is from adweek.com back in July of 2020. Tucker Carlson's top writer, that was Blake Neff. Blake Neff Speed. That was Blake Neff. Tucker Carlson's top writer resigns after it was discovered he was using online alias to post bigoted remarks, invite others to invade a woman's privacy. So there's the update, but let's go to the original story here. Blake Neff, the top writer for Tucker Carlson, has resigned from Fox News Media after it was discovered that he was using an alias to post racist, sexist, and homophobic remarks on an online forum named AutoAdmit, which is a hotbed for offensive content. According to CNN's Oliver Darcy, who first reported the news, Neff worked at Fox News for nearly 4 years. He was a top writer for Carlson. Before taking a job at Fox News, he was a reporter at the Daily Caller, the conservative outlet that Carlson co-founded. Over the course of 5 years, Darcy reports, Neff started a thread on AutoAdmit where he would post content incessantly mocking the woman with whom he was friends on Facebook and described as an Asian mega shrew. That's gonna become very important to this story tonight, that she is an Asian mega shrew, per Blake Neff. Not per your humble host. I would never call someone a mega shrew, much less would I point out they're an Asian mega shrew. Sharing posts she had written about her dating life. He's continued to post to the thread and mock the woman whom CNN will not identify as recently as late last month. So this is going back to 2020. So in late June of 2020, per CNN, Blake Neff was continuing a 5-year campaign of harassment towards this woman, mocking her Asian heritage, mocking her dating life. Through the years, the thread has generated nearly 1,000 comments, many of which use vulgar, racist, sexist, and dehumanizing language to mock the woman. Now, I will share this. I think I did a quick count. The quickest count I could come up with, and again, I caveat this with, this was a quick Control F for Command F count. I think Blake himself posted 674 times about this woman. If my math was correct, 674 times over 5 years. That's 10 times. That's twice a week for 5 years. If my math is right. Don't hold me to that math. I'm terrible at math. 2.5 maybe times a week for 5 years. We will show you the thread in its current state because it still exists. I got to pull it up here. Let me go to the top. This is the thread in its current state on the message board. I'm going to cut the names off because they're kind of ugly. In this thread, I post the Facebook posts of Asian mega shrew I've met. Now, what happens is these are the authors of the different comments over here on the right-hand side, and some of them say some ugly words, so I've got it kind of cut off there a little bit. But what happens when every time you refresh this site, it gives you a different alias. That's the new policy. It didn't used to be that way. I can show you an example of where it wasn't that way. He was posting under the name of Charles the 12th, Charles XII. But I'll just show you, I'm scrolling now, how many posts are in this thread. And I will tell you that of all these posts over the course of 5 years, I think 674 of those 1,000 or so posts were from Blake Neff. Now, I'm not going to read the content of those posts. They are, frankly, horrific. I'm shocked that TPUSA has this man on camera. I'm shocked they have him on payroll, but I'm shocked they have him on camera. Whether or not he works at TPUSA or he works for the Charlie Kirk Show, irrelevant, difference without a distinction, in my humble opinion. The man's name, Charlie Kirk's name, is on the lower third, the Chiron, 3 times. CharlieKirk.com, email at CharlieKirk.com, Charlie Kirk Show. There's a picture of Charlie Kirk behind Blake Neff. He sits directly to the right of Charlie Kirk's chair. I think it's remarkable that he's employed there. Absolutely remarkable. Even more remarkable in light of his incessant obsession with Candace Owens, a female minority. Obviously, the female minority class as a class really bothers Blake Neff. I don't know if that's because he's an incel. I don't know if that's because he's upset he can't get a date or a woman, or I don't know what it is, but he seems to really be bothered by these people. And if you read through some of these, you'll understand. Now, keep in mind, this is a woman he had met in person. This is a woman who worked where Blake Neff went to school. And he had interacted with her, met her, been in the same room with her. They were friends on Facebook. And he went to a public message board, and over the course of 5 years, I think authored somewhere in the neighborhood of 674 horrific posts about this woman's private life or dating life, calling her an Asian megashrew. And that is one of the kinder things that was said about that woman. Here is a way back archive that I'm going to show you so you can see the original name of, well, I can't show you all the original. I'll just show you his, because these people, you should see some of the names these people choose. This was archived back in February of 2019. You'll see here, though, that it says Charles the 19th out beside it, right there, or Charles the 12th, excuse me, out beside it. And he goes back from 2013. Well, what's interesting about that is Blake Neff graduated from that particular university in 2013, which means he was making notes. This was before he had discovered the existence of this message board. He was making notes about this woman's dating life that he knew, that he met, that he was friends with on Facebook. He was observing her Facebook habits, her posting habits, and he was making notes to himself about intimate details of her life. That's stalkerish behavior, particularly once he comes across an anonymous message board that he thought was anonymous. He gave too many details about his life, and turns out he was outed and eventually fired. He probably, I don't know if he'd still be posting there to this day, if he had not been outed and fired from Fox News. But let's ask a question, because just this morning I open up X and I see this outrageous piece of reporting from Travis on X, Nilo X or Nilo X. I need to ask him how you pronounce that. He is posting here about this exact thread. And he noticed something interesting about it and I talked to him off camera and I said, how did you even notice this? And he said, well, I realized I'd never gone back to the original thread and looked at the actual content of the original thread myself. And when I did that, I noticed it had recently become reactivated. It had been dormant for 5 years. And very recently, in the very recent past, on a date that is extremely important to this story, this thread became reactivated. Here's what Travis had to write. Blake Neff, and then he tags him, Blake Sneff, started an auto-admit thread in 2015 titled, "In this thread, I post the Facebook posts of Asian megashrew I've met." The thread remained dormant for several years until on September 7th, 2025. Anybody know what happened 3 days after September 7th, 2025? Class? That's correct. Charlie Kirk's neck exploded. He died. It was one of the most horrific, tragic, heart-wrenching, disgusting acts of political violence that's happened in our country in decades. Happened 3 days after this thread became reactivated. A new thread was created, and the old thread suddenly garnered considerable attention. Here's the lore. For approximately 5 years, Blake fed this woman's genuine dating and Instagram updates and photos to this message board, auto-admit. Consequently, nearly 1,000 comments contained racist and sexist slurs and muck duck fantasies. For example, if Charles PhD, I think it's supposed to be Blake Neff, but it doesn't matter. If Charles muck ducked this slang for Asians in cold blood, I'd have quit. That's how they were talking about this woman that Blake had met. CNN brought this to light in 2020, leading to Neff's resignation from Tucker Carlson Tonight. Interestingly, the thread was revived September 7th, 2025. Asian Megashrew's current profile pic is an AI-generated image of her holding a blonde-haired, blue-eyed toddler wearing a Yale sweater. It's so mentally ill, I feel bad laughing at it. An hour later, immediate follow-ups confirming the image. Someone linked the screen cap of this woman. And her real Facebook profile was linked to the new thread, plus discussion of her caption. Here's a quote. It's true. The thumb rings, the fake dates, all of it. It's all true. And then over the next 7 hours, a number of posts tied it back to the mega shrew lore. Charles the 12th, meaning Blake Neff, including the full caption expert. I am not mother material, and I've never been about that pregnancy lifestyle. The following day at 10 a.m., someone bumped the original 2015 thread, linking the revival thread and noting she'd now be in her mid to late 30s. This is a little terrifying if you think about how this is developing. 6 a.m. to midnight the following day. Continued mockery, including, quote, the Yale sweater is the cherry on top. I can't believe her class ring isn't strategically staged, and remove it with fire. Blake Neff, of course, now produces the Charlie Kirk Show, and he stars on the Charlie Kirk Show. It's important to note the forum allegedly is 100% anonymous. So the question is Blake Neff posting under fresh handles in what has become a decade-long case of internet stalking and harassment while employed at Turning Point USA? Here is the revived thread. And let me tell you, think about the date it became reactivated, September 7th. And think about where Blake was on September 7th. He was in Korea. He'd been there for 3 or 4 days. What do Koreans look like? Asians. They probably look similar to the woman he was harassing. If I had to guess, they probably look similar to the woman he was harassing. So here's allegedly, in my opinion, how this could have developed. Blake had become something of a famous person on this message board. If you look through the message board and you do a kind of a Google search about Charles the 12th, mega shrews, Asian mega shrews, you'll realize Blake is a celebrity on that disgusting message board. He is all over it. Now, he may not personally be all over it, but people still talk about it to this day under an anonymous message board. Blake goes to an Asian capital with hundreds of millions of people that look like the person he was harassing. One can imagine what might have gone through Blake's head as he's walking around the streets of Seoul. For example, here is a picture of Blake, and you can see in the background people he might describe as Asian mega shrews, particularly this woman over Charlie's left shoulder here. So you can see how this might become a problem with Blake. Blake might be so tempted by looking at all these people that he wants to get to posting again. Here is Blake and Charlie walking around, Asians all over the place. Here's Charlie getting ready to go on stage. Oops, hitting the wrong buttons here. Here is Dan Flood, Mikey McCoy, Charlie, and an Asian fella at dinner. Oh, that's going to Utah Valley University. But I think I've passed here where we were. But you can see here Asians. And if you know Blake's history with Asians, there's thousands of them. If you know Blake's history with Asians, you'll realize that's a real problem for him. A real problem with Blake. Here are some more pictures from their trip where you can see Asians in the background. might really be bothering him. Look, here's some Asian women in the background here that he's posted. I can see him really being bothered by this, knowing his history with Asian women. Here's Charlie interacting with Asian women. This is probably just burning every aspect of Blake to the ground. Here's some more Asian women that Blake is forced to be in the same room with. I can't imagine what he was thinking, what he was going through here. Another Asian woman here nearly touching Charlie, probably out of his mind. Here's Charlie with knee-high socks, looking dapper, as he tends to do. This is just them wandering around. Is people that Blake might describe as these types of people. Oh gosh, you'll notice he's even taking pictures of women on boards. I can't imagine what he's thinking here. So let's look at Blake's pseudonym, Charles the 12th. That's what he posted as, Charles the 12th. What do we know about Charles the 12th? Well, there's only one I could find. Charles the 12th of Sweden. Never married, fathered no children, of whom historians are aware. In his youth, he was particularly encouraged to find a suitable spouse in order to secure the succession, but he would frequently avoid the subject of sex and marriage. Possible candidates emerged, but of the latter, he pleaded he could never wed someone as ugly as Satan and with such a devilish big mouth. Talking about this woman here. Instead, he made it clear he would marry only someone of his own choice and for love rather than dynastic pressures. Lack of mistresses may have been due to strong religious faith. He himself suggested conversation with Axel Lowen. He actively resisted any match until peace could be secured, and he was in some sense married to the military life. He was an incel. That's who Blake was idolizing. That's who he named himself after, allegedly, in my opinion. This is Blake Neff. This is the guy who sits on the Charlie Kirk show day in and day out. And I'm telling you right now, I find it impossible for me to believe that wasn't Blake Neff, who, while he's returning from Korea on September 7th, having been around many Asian women, didn't think to himself about his 5-year run, posting 2.5 times a week on average, harassing an Asian woman, and then reviving the thread by looking her up one more time, seeing where she is, and posting about her latest struggles. Life's tough, guys. Doesn't work out perfectly for everybody. Sometimes you find yourself with an Ivy League education and a good job, and you're in your 30s and you don't have a spouse. You don't have a girlfriend. You don't have a boyfriend. You're just tumbling through life. And so you post about it with your friends on Facebook, and you don't imagine some short, fat, bald smartass is out there making fun of you behind your back when you were kind enough to accept his friend request on Facebook, or he was kind enough to accept yours. I don't know who hurt Blake. But lest you think that woman is the only one he has harassed, I have to point you to some recent posts Blake has made in his ongoing and continued obsession with Candace Owens. And I will say right now, the obsession some of these people show with Candace Owens is disgusting. It's disgusting. It's disturbing. It's disgusting. And it borders on racism and sexism the way they talk about her. This is Blake talking to Candace Owens. Nobody has profited more off of Charlie's death than you have, Candace. And you share plenty of Charlie's private communications with you, but there are a few important differences. One, you were not Charlie's wife. Two, your messages tend to be from half a decade ago or more. I wonder why. Three, you love referring to dates he went on and women he knew prior to Erika. There's very clearly no reason to do this except trying to humiliate Erika. And you were doing even before you started accusing her of helping to remove Charlie. Finally, you do all of this to profit yourself. Yeah, Turning Point needs to raise money. No, it doesn't. Turning Point doesn't need to raise money. This idea that Turning Point owes some sort of an obligation to its shareholders to return value, that's the whole point of a nonprofit. It doesn't need to raise any money. I got a fly flying around here. It's driving me crazy. It doesn't need to raise any money whatsoever. That's nonprofits by their charter don't have to exist. They exist as a gift from the taxpayers because in theory they do things that help taxpayers. They provide schooling, they provide hospital services, they provide services to the poor. Turning Point provides voting support to Republicans. It does that because it actually does things. Well, like fly Erika all over creation. We'll look at some of those things they do tonight. Burning literally tens of millions of dollars in private jet fees of the highest caliber. Puts on multiple conferences a year. Organizes campus. In theory, a conference would pay for itself, right? You charge people a fortune to be there. You guys charge vendors like $10,000 to $50,000 to set up a little tiny table booth that you call a booth. Organizes campus events and faith events. TP Action employs literally hundreds of people for ballot chasing efforts. I can't stand that phrase, ballot chasing, in swing states. You've never done anything remotely comparable. Yeah, because she's not a grifter. She doesn't steal from the taxpayer, allegedly, in my opinion. And you couldn't because you have neither the talent nor the selflessness to do it. All you have is narcissism to think what Charlie built should have been handed over to you for free. So that's a recent post of Blake obsessing over Candace. Here's another recent post of Blake Neff obsessing over Candace when she asked for a video to support their claim that Charlie appointed. They claim they have the video. They just won't give it to us because it probably is fake. Charlie appointing Erika to succeed him. Candace, we haven't bothered playing it because we know psychopathic predators like yourself do not care what is true or false, and normal evidentiary logic has no effect on you. You're the kind of person who sees coded messages and the number 33, but then ignores evidence, like DNA on a rifle or Tyler Robinson's own family members turning him in. Interesting how both of those pieces of facts have fallen apart since he's written that. We've learned there are many, many chunks of DNA on a rifle, and we all recognize the reality that everyone's own DNA should be on their own rifle if they ever handled the rifle. And we've learned Tyler Robinson's family is not testifying against him at the preliminary hearing and are contesting that he confessed to them and they turned him in. Playing audio at AmFest already wasn't enough. Yeah, because it sounded fake, Blake. That's why it wasn't enough. You'll obviously just say it's AI. That's because it probably is. Or a hologram or an ally actor or something. So what's the point? Well, the point is to evaluate it to determine if it's real, Blake. That's the point. We gave up the possibility of any good faith conversation with you months ago. Like trying to reason with a maniac, brandishing a knife and screaming at people on a subway. You are the same thing. Again, this is Blake Neff taking an inordinate interest in Candace Owens, lest you think that's it. I'm just giving you a few examples. I'm not by any means going through everything that this man has said or done, but I do want to give you a few examples of exactly what Blake does. Is this a micro drone? What's flying around my head here? Now, Candace, both of us know you can't be trusted to follow any kind of agreement or keep any kind of promise. You said Erika Kirk could get you to stop your endless harassment. A lie. You said you'd meet us anytime, any place. Then you said you couldn't come to Phoenix because of some bogus assassination plot involving cartels. Charlie was a far greater man than myself, and he couldn't fix you. Yeah, but I bet he spoke better English than you. That's improper English. Why would anybody trust you to change your behavior? Well, Blake, are you done? Nope, he's not done. So now we've got even more Blake Neff obsessing over Candace Owens. Now he's saying we've entered the loopy chart era of Candace because she's pointing out that Salem Media Group has connections to all these people and that money flows from our greatest ally. That, according to Blake, is the loopy chart era. So what do we draw from all this? Blake is a dangerous man. in my opinion. I think he's deeply disturbed. I think he has deep hostilities towards women as a class, and minority women in particular. And if TPUSA wants to know why they're having so much image trouble, people like Blake Neff are a huge part of the problem. Blake is a dangerous individual, in my opinion. In my opinion, he's a dangerous, dangerous individual, and he has no business whatsoever sitting next to a picture of Charlie Kirk broadcasting multiple days a week. I think 4 or 5 days a week they broadcast live. He sits next to the empty chair, the famed empty chair. And he sits above the name Charlie Kirk 3 places on the screen. I think TPUSA needs to get to the bottom of who posted the updates about the Asian woman from the university, or who worked at the university where Blake went. And I don't think it's a huge stretch to suggest, following a 3 or 4 day trip where Blake was literally around thousands, maybe tens or hundreds of thousands of Asian women over the course of the weekend, over the course of the 4 days, that he would then, on the day he's returning, post to that same thread. So Blake, if you're listening, be honest. I know that's tough for you. I know it's hard for you. I know this isn't something you're going to want to do. But you voluntarily resigned from Fox News when you got caught the first time. Are we to believe that in one of the most remarkable coincidences in global history, someone 5 years after you got fired from Fox News for a 5-year period of harassment, so this was started 10 years ago, this 5-year harassment period ended 5 years ago, and then that thread lay dormant for 5 years. And then after you spend 4 days around Asian women, all of a sudden, someone randomly decides to fire up the old laptop, check out this woman minding her own business, trying to start a life for herself, bothering nobody. Her only crime to you, Blake, was that she existed and probably didn't take an interest in you, because very few, if anyone, ever has. It's not a big stretch to me to believe that you were the one that did it. It is a massive stretch to me to believe anyone else would have possibly done it on that day. On the day you're coming back from being around tens or hundreds of thousands of Asian women. Andrew, Erika, Tyler, TPUSA board, family members of Erika Kirk, family members of Charlie Kirk. Is this who you want carrying your legacy? Is this honestly who you want bearing the torch, being the mouthpiece for Charlie Kirk and for TPUSA? The day in and day out mouthpiece on the Charlie Kirk show? Is this who you want? And frankly, is his constant assault on Candace Owens not indicative of the actual underlying problem, that he has a deep-seated problem with minority women? Because I think he does. I think he does. I think it's dangerous. I think it's bad. I think it's really bad. So I put the ball in your court, TPUSA. I think you should get to the bottom of this. I'm sure you could probably work with AutoAdmit to figure out where that tweet or those series of posts came from that fired up miraculously on the day Blake was leaving Asia. And someone on the Blake Neff famous thread decides to start trashing Asian women again. Or you can just look at reality and say, this looks so bad, Blake. You got to go home. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. You can go back to South Dakota. There are not many Asian women up there, Blake. I don't think. You'll be safe. And maybe there's black women around. I don't know. Maybe they'll scare you, but you know, your onslaught and harassment, those days are over here at TPUSA. You've got to go somewhere. And I will say, you've done this to yourself, Blake. You've done this to yourself. You think you're much smarter than you are. You think you're so much smarter than you are. You thought you were smart when you were posting under an anonymous message board. You were too stupid to realize you were leaving breadcrumbs about who you were in real life, and that one day that would be figured out and you would be outed as the racist, sexist bigot that you are. Allegedly, in my opinion. And you probably thought it had died down long enough and no one was paying attention to you because Charlie was still alive on September 7th. And 5 years had passed and no one cared who you were anymore. No one even knew you existed. You weren't on camera every day, Blake. You weren't harassing Candace Owens. You weren't attacking minority women on a near daily basis on X. And so nobody ever thought to go back and look at that old thread. Nobody thought to go back and look at the message board to see if there'd been an update about this woman. Nobody thought to connect the date the update happened with the date you were coming back from Asia, because no one knew who you were because you are inconsequential, Blake. So, TPUSA, Charlie Kirk Show, you can leave this guy on air to continue causing problems, to continue whatever, or you guys can do what you should have done a long time ago, which is never have anything to do with this guy. Part, be gone, and let it go. And lest you think we don't have the receipts to back it up, I know what time your flight came back. I know what plane you were on. I know where you were when those posts were first made. It would not be hard to figure out if that was you. Not be hard at all to figure out if that was you. Now, I want to switch gears because we're going to get into really strange territory for the rest of the night. Late last week or over the weekend, Project Constitution put up a post about Erika Kirk. And it has been roundly criticized. He put up a post suggesting Erika Kirk may have moved on from Charlie and been seen in a semi-public location. I'm not going to comment on that. I have no comment on it because I don't know one way or the other whether it happened or didn't happen. So I can't comment on it. But what I can do is look at publicly available information to determine, are they ever around each other? This Erika Kirk and this person Project Constitution was talking about. The person she's talking about, and again, I make no allegations tonight. I'm not saying they're together. I'm not saying they're not together. I'm saying I don't know. The only thing I can do is look at, like I said, publicly available information, including social media posts that are public. They're not hidden. We didn't have to pretend we're somebody else and request to follow somebody to get access to them. No, these are just things that are public for the world to see. They're on Erika's page. They're on the TPUSA page. They're on Getty Images. They're on Blake's page. The Blake we're talking about is a guy named Blake Wynn, W-Y-N-N. Blake Wynn is a nephew of casino and real estate magnate Steve Wynn. Steve Wynn, for his part, I don't believe has any connection any longer to the casino franchise that bears his name, because I think, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm not reporting this, I just recalling the story that he had to step down or something because of either an affair or a sexual harassment allegation or something. I don't remember, so don't hold me to those facts. But I don't think Steve Wynn still has much to do with it. And if he does, he's like in his 80s. You know, he's old. But his nephew is a guy named Blake Wynn. So as soon as I saw this story, I immediately went to look at who Blake Wynn is. I don't know who he is. So I go look and I find a tweet. You can look with me now. That tweet has been deleted. This is where the tweet was. Well, anytime a tweet gets deleted, you have to stop and ask yourself, what the hell's going on? So we were able to recover a screenshot of the now deleted tweet. And here is what it says. This is from September 18th, 8 days after Charlie Kirk passed away. This is from Blake Wynn's Twitter feed here. It says, notice how all of these so-called, quote, best friends of Charlie Kirk didn't grieve like people who lost their best friend. Instead, within just hours of his death, they began spreading rumors or trying to self-promote on the back of this horrific tragedy. You know who you are. Well, that's an interesting tweet to delete, because when I first went to Blake Wynn's account, immediately following Project Constitution's story, as soon as I went there, that tweet was still up. And then when we went to pull that tweet to include in a show, it had been taken down. That's weird to me. Why would you take that tweet down? That tweet, I mean, if that's how you feel, why do you care? So I instantly go back and say, well, who is this guy? I don't know anything about him. So who is this guy? What do I know about him? Well, I found a podcast. And apparently, I was one of the very first people to find the podcast, because as I sit here right now, it only has 395 views. 395 views. So it's not a very well, it's about as popular as the current Charlie Kirk show. Because I imagine the Charlie Kirk show tomorrow will have about 385 views. They tend to do poorly these days. It's from a podcast called Fargo. What's it called? Let me look. Fargo Talks. Fargo Talks. It's from October, I believe, of 2025. Let me get the date here. Yeah, 6 months ago. So, November 4th. November 4th. And you can assume maybe it had been pre-recorded and edited. It clearly had some edits in it. So, pre-recorded and edited. But I start watching, and this is in the first minute of the podcast. This is 30 seconds into the podcast. Blake Wynn, let's call it less than 2 months, 6 weeks to 2 months after Charlie Kirk passed, had this to say about his regard for Erika.
In my 50, almost 6 years on this planet, aside from my now wife, I have never been drawn to somebody that I utterly adore quicker than you.
That's very nice of you to say, and the feeling's mutual.
So just to give you a setup, the bald guy whose picture's on the left, that's the Fargo guy. I think it's his last name, Fargo. The guy in the hat that you can't see his eyes, that's Blake. That's Blake Wynn.
It's interesting. I mean, you and I, one of the first times we spent extended time together was obviously one of the worst mornings of my life. I was with you at breakfast when I found out about Charlie Kirk being shot. And it's one of those things that separate from that situation, I've sort of asked myself, why was I with you? And you fit into a very small bucket of people that I have in my life where, it's so easy to look up to people. And I've been very fortunate in my life to get to know a lot of my business heroes very well personally, people like my Uncle Steve, people like my grandfather, and then also people who have just become major successes, or a lot of our clients and things like that. But then there's this much more rare bucket. Erika Kirk fits into it, you fit into it, and a couple other people fit into it, which...
Okay, so they must be close. They must be close. Okay, so this is one of the first things we find on this guy. I don't know anything about him. I know he deletes tweets after stories come out. It's always that's like headlong flight, on the Fourth Amendment. You're allowed to search somebody who engages in headlong flight. So that's number one. But the second thing is he thinks very highly of Erika Kirk, meaning he meets his business heroes, his Uncle Steve, who became a multi-billionaire and unabashed success. Well, a success. I mean, anybody in the casino business is building their life on destroying other people's lives. So there's that. But he's undoubtedly successful at collecting the money of people who are destroying their lives through gambling, but neither here nor there. But so he meets these people that are close to him, like his uncle. He has these business heroes he looks up to, and then he reserves the uber secret bucket for just a few rare people. And of all those people he chooses, he puts Erika Kirk in there, which was a little strange to me, because I thought, okay, what's she ever done? I mean, if we're being honest, what has she ever done? At this point, she had been the head of TPUSA for like 5 weeks. What has she done? to deserve like uber secret, top of the line, best bucket strategy. So that's the first thing he said about her on this podcast. Well, believe it or not, we revisit the buckets later in the program because he's going on and on about his adoration for Tulsi Gabbard. He and Tulsi Gabbard apparently very close. And as he's talking about his adoration for Tulsi Gabbard, he has this to say about Erika Kirk.
Baby.
Yeah.
She's a baby.
Well, she's a baby. They're talking about Tulsi because she's like in her early 40s.
She's got a long time left of serving this country, but we are so much better for having her in the position that she's in right now. And
it's a little awkward that they said Tulsi has a lot longer to serve the country because 6 months later she would be unceremoniously removed from her position. and we'd be out shopping for a new DNI, but neither here nor there. What say you, Blake? How do you follow up to this adoration of Tulsi Gabbard?
I think there's much greater things for her in the future. But wow. Like we were texting before, like I love her brain. Yeah. I love her brain of just the way she just navigates through stuff and is always like looking like a lot like Trump, talking to other people about their opinions before she goes ahead and does something. She humbles herself.
She's one of the finest human beings I know. You, Erika, Tulsi, a couple other people are.
There he is throwing Erika in again. The top cream of the crop, greatest people he's ever met. The greatest people he knows. His Mount Rushmore is a bald guy whose podcast had 395 views. Tulsi Gabbard and Erika Kirk. It's a little weird. I'll just be honest. It's a little weird. I probably would not have thought a thing about it had I seen this in advance of the Project Constitution story. And again, I'm not commenting on that story. I don't know if it's true. It may very well be true. It may not have any merit to it at all. But the fact that the story exists, and then I go back and I listen to this podcast and I hear him saying, oh, no, Erika is one of my heroes. Erika is one of the few people I would put in the secret bucket, the super secret bucket, the best bucket, above even my uncle. And the only reason you've ever heard of me, Mr. Fargo, is because Steve Wynn is my uncle. But even though I'm a nobody without Steve Wynn, Erika's better. So this is a little weird. So does he know these people? Like, what is the connection here? Well, we go to his Instagram page. Again, this is all public. I'm not showing any private information. I'm not divulging any secrets. I called nobody. Well, that's not true. I did call a few people in prep of this story, but here is a photo of him inside a private jet. This seems to be a very common theme when you talk about this set of people that hang around TPUSA. They tend to fly everywhere on private jets. Here is Blake Wynn. And if you'll notice right there, that's Andrew Colvin sitting next to Blake Wynn here on the left. And on the top left is Tulsi Gabbard. And to her left is her husband, Abe. I have no idea who these other two people are. I think Blake Wynn may have a girlfriend, so maybe that's the girlfriend. That's just speculation. I don't know. And then in the top right, I have no idea who that guy is. But if you look, that's the night of the White House Correspondents' Dinner. That's Tulsi Gabbard. That's Erika Kirk, his bucket. And that is Blake Wynn to the right. Of our right, her left. So they obviously know each other. They at least traveled together or to the same place on one occasion. I will submit to you without having to go through and drag up the pictures that Blake Wynn was seen at her table sitting to her right. Erika sat to the left of Blake at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, meaning he sat to her right. At one point over the course of the night, he shows an image to Erika of somebody. I think I know who it is, the image he showed, and Erika makes a comment, kind of has a distasteful look on her face, makes a comment about somebody's age. But I'm not going to judge her about that. And then after the event, this is the important part. after the White House Correspondents' Dinner, after Erika rushes out and is seen crying on camera saying, I just want to go home, Blake Wynn is seen at the curb waiting for a car. He's holding her bag. I do believe he's holding it the correct side up, where she was holding it upside down most of the night. But he's holding her bag. And I think she might have been wearing his coat. So they obviously were there together. I don't think that's a far stretch. They sat next to each other. They were standing next to the car out after the show. And I will, actually, I'm going to pull this up. I didn't know I was going to do this, but I'm going to. I will show you real quickly some history from that night. Again, these are all dates in the past, nothing at all in the future. These are past dates. If I can find it. This is why we don't research on the fly, ladies and gentlemen. If I can't find it, I'll just move on without it. But I will suggest to you, after the event.
Do you want me to grab it?
Yeah, it's the one where they went from DC to Scottsdale.
To Vegas?
Vegas to LA, yeah.
I'll put the link up.
Thank you. I didn't know I was going to go there. So we have the pics of, we had that first pic of Blake Wynn in a plane with Andrew Colvett. We have another pic here of Blake Wynn in a plane. Again, this is past. This is public. This is not anyone invading anybody's privacy. There's no personal information here, but here's another pic of him on a private plane saying he's going to Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis to see Phillip Rivers play. I myself am a big Phillip Rivers fan. And so kudos. I'm glad you got to see him play live. That's amazing. So what we were able to find, though, is I think we were able to track down that actual flight. So let me pull up. She's dropped the link in here. So let me pull this up. Yeah, here we go. So this is the flights after the White House Correspondents' Dinner. So this is them leaving, and I say them. This is the plane that has been known to be flown by Erika. This is leaving the White House Correspondents' Dinner. It says 2:40 here on the 26th. You have to subtract 4 hours, to get to Eastern time. And so you would have to get to 10:40 the night before, after the shooting. So that plane leaves Scottsdale. I just want to go home. And it goes home to Scottsdale. But it only in Scottsdale for a moment, because it lands here at, I don't know, after midnight. And then it is only on the ground for about 45 minutes before it's back in the air heading to Vegas. And then it goes from Vegas to Los Angeles. And it's interesting because he lives in Vegas, which raises the question, was he on the flight? Was he on that plane? In other words, did you fly together to the White House Correspondents' Dinner, or was he already there and you gave him a ride home? Or was somebody else going to Vegas? Was somebody else on your plane that then went to Vegas? Or nobody on your plane went to Vegas and you flew, and then your plane decided it needed to go to Vegas for whatever reason. Maybe the pilot wanted to drop somebody off, go see somebody, pick somebody up. I have no idea. Like, I don't live in the world of private aircraft. I fly coach, not Coach Colin. That's not what I fly. I don't fly Coach Colin. I fly coach, meaning I look on the itinerary and I say, hey, I'm going to Chicago and I need to go in the morning. So I look at, okay, well, the Delta goes roughly in the morning and it's nonstop, and United goes in the morning and it's nonstop. And Well, that flight's $310. That flight's $490. I want the $310 flight. So I click the flight. That's how I fly. That flight they took probably cost $75,000 to $100,000 to go from DC to Scottsdale. And then more money to go to Vegas and more money to go to California. That's a rough approximation, but these flights are, $15,000-ish in the air. They're not cheap. They're not cheap. So basically a round trip from Scottsdale to DC and back to go to the White House Correspondents' Dinner is going to cost 2 to 3 times the median salary of an American citizen. Roughly, So we're dealing with a different class of people here. Is what I'm saying. We're not dealing with your humble host. We're not dealing with somebody who looks and says, "Okay, I need to go to the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Can I get there under $500? Can I get there and back under $500? That'd be a huge win for me. Oh, it's going to cost $650. I may not go. Like that extra $150 might be I can't go. Not when you're flying private. No, friends, $150,000, whatever. Book it. Book it. I'm fine with it. I'm not fine with it, but I was playing a role where I would be fine with it if I was rich. I'm not rich. These people are rich. Erika, him, they're all rich. It's just part of it. It landed in Vegas at around 2 a.m., I think, local time per the very talented Daisy. So we looked at the pictures on his Instagram, and then we found a jet that looks like it could fit. And we looked at it and thought, okay, well, this looks like the identical jet. The trim is the same and everything else. This could be the jet he typically flies on. Then we started looking at, okay, well, if we know what kind of jet he flies on, and there were some logos in the background where you could pick up what brand of flight he flies on, what the charter service he uses. Now you can start to put together a picture of where this guy may be going based on these flights. Well, before we even need to do that, though, we might not even need to get into the flights at all to figure out, do he and Erika spend a good bit of time together? For example, here is an Instagram publicly available. This is all public from October 16th. This is Blake Wynn at the White House, or in DC. It says the White House, with Erika Kirk staring at Charlie's Medal of Honor. And he has some video of the occasion, looking all around, everybody looking very dapper. We've got Blake Wynn with Mikey McCoy, TPUSA employee. So we've got the October 14th, so we know what date this was, October 14th. We have some outside footage from where it was done outside here, and we can see who he was around. There's Tucker Carlson. These are some fancy people here. I think that was Father Klein maybe in the background back there. But he's taking a around the world shot here. We got a picture of Blake with Joe Biden's auto pen. Laura Ingraham. And then, of course, the obligatory Erika shot, tissue in hand. And then Blake hugging Erika in an intimate embrace. And then the actual Medal of Honor itself right there. And then the back of it where it's actually engraved with Charles James Kirk. It's actually a beautiful medal. It's a big deal to win the medal, or to be able to win. Not like you run a marathon and the first one there gets a Medal of Honor. That's not what I mean by win. It's actually quite an honor to have a president acknowledge you with a Medal of Honor. So I'm not diminishing the award by any stretch of the imagination. But so we looked and, okay, so October 14th, they're there together. We know that for a fact. It's on Instagram. He's there for the Medal of Honor ceremony, hugging Erika. We know approximately 2 weeks after that, he's on a podcast where he claims Erika is in a rare bucket of very few people this man has ever met. And he's met the most famous celebrities, business magnates. Again, his uncle Steve Wynn. None of them qualify for this bucket. No. Erika and very few others. Well, they ever spend any other time together? Well, as a matter of fact, they have. Here's another picture of them together on Blake's public Instagram. This is at the Mar-a-Lago Club. You can tell it's Mar-a-Lago because there's an inordinate amount of gold leafing. But that is Blake Wynn on the left, obviously Erika Kirk on the right. This was from December, I believe, the 6th. There is a picture he put up of her speaking, or a quick video of her speaking. He has a video of someone else speaking. I'm sure that guy loves that angle. Another video of Erika Kirk speaking next to Charlie throwing a hat. A frankly very touching and very beautiful drawing from a child. Another one here. And then a little ambiance shot with the sun going down. Golden hour, as my girls call it. Golden hour at the Mar-a-Lago. So we know they were together in October 14th at the Charlie Kirk Medal of Honor ceremony. We know they're together at the December 6th and 7th TPUSA Mar-a-Lago Gala. Okay, well, that's not that weird. Those are big events, and those are in important places. Like it or not, President Trump is a very important human being. His home, Mar-a-Lago, will go down in history as one of the most famous pieces of real estate in American history. It's similar to the Kennedy compound. It's similar to the Bush compound up in Maine, the Kennedy compound in Hyannisport. It's what they call Camelot. I mean, it's a famous piece of real estate. And if you're at Mar-a-Lago, almost inevitably you're going to take a picture. Almost inevitably you're going to post it to social media because there's a lot of clout with being at Mar-a-Lago. Same with the White House. Not a lot of people go to black tie events at the White House. He made one, so take a picture. Is that it? Well, not exactly. We fast forward to March 11th, where he is once again in the presence with his bucket gal, Erika. This is a little more casual appearance. This is in the, I don't know if this is the residence or the Capitol or what, but again, public post. This is nothing here private. This is all publicly available. That's Sarah Sanders, daughter of one of the most evil human beings that ever lived. I don't really have too much bad to say about her, but her father's wretched. That's Blake Wynn on the right, and that's Erika Kirk on the left. So you notice they were together at the Arkansas announcement where she looked very sheepish in her denim and chunky tinnies, announcing the high school initiative. And here are some cats. I'm not sure what those are. Now I got to make this bigger to go back. But that's him and the Great Seal of the state of Arkansas. I don't know what that is either. But apparently that is him there with the announcement with the governor. And then I don't know who these people. This must be another event. But okay. Little weirder event, you know. I mean, Mar-a-Lago, the White House, Little Rock. Kind of strange event, if I'm being honest, to go to. Kind of a strange event. Charlie's not being honored at that event. The other two, yes, he was. That one was more about starting high school TPUSA chapters in a deep southern state. Okay, fair enough. And then we get to the world famous White House Correspondents' Dinner, and here they are standing outside waiting for the vehicle after the tragic ending to the night. Let me scroll back here and you can see after she cries and says she wants to go home.
Moving out, guys.
Oh, let me kill the volume here. I don't know that anybody says anything ugly, but just in case. There's Cash Money Patel. No country music sensation in sight, but that's okay, Cash. Looking dapper in your oversized bow tie. And there is Erika standing there waiting for a car, and that is Blake next to her. I guess that's not his coat. I don't know what she's wearing around her shoulders there, but that's him holding her bag. In his right hand, he has her bag. And they zoom in just for good measure, so you can tell it's them. Yeah, starting to look a little weird, I guess, maybe, It's a lot, if I'm being honest. I mean, she is a grieving widow. You are a man with a girlfriend. Now, we have something interesting. I don't know how much of this we'll go through tonight just because of the time, but we have an interesting tool here. Let me see if I can find it. What'd I do with it, Daisy? I had it pulled up. Here it is. I want to introduce you to this tool. We're going to come back to it and use it a lot coming up in the next little while. We have a tool that allows you to pull data out of flight software, dump it into a back end, and then there's a front end that allows you to analyze the data. We took the known planes that TPUSA uses. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-ish planes that TPUSA uses on a regular to infrequent basis. So some of them show up more than others. And then there are 2 planes we think that Blake Wynn may or may not use. And so I'm going to show you quickly, just to give you a rundown and an idea of how this works. But let me go back to all regions. So this is what you end up with. It looks something like this. I'm going to introduce you to the tool tonight. Consider this a part 1 of this tool. You can look around the world and see each one of these dots represents a start or end point of a flight on one of these planes. So you come down here and you can zoom in on different places in Florida, and you can see all the different flights on these various flights that hit these places here. For example, you can go over to Arizona and it gets really busy because obviously they live in Arizona. So you get a lot of activity around the Scottsdale area, Phoenix, a whole lot of area there. You come down here to Tucson, remarkable amount of activity down here in Tucson at the airport down here. You go to LA where they are a lot of activity there. Vegas, these planes are in Vegas a whole lot, a whole lot in Las Vegas. Even in places like St. George, where Tyler Robinson and Lance Twiggs were from, there's several flights into St. George. We come up to Scottsdale. Come up to Provo. We have several flights in and out of Provo, both before and after Charlie Kirk tragically lost his life. Same thing up here in Salt Lake City. Lots of flights in and out of Salt Lake City before and after Charlie Kirk tragically lost his life. So what we will do is we will begin to segregate these. Idaho Falls, this is where the famed doctor lives. He also lives over here in Rapid City. We've got some flights in and over there. Haley, Idaho. We got a lot of flights in and out of Haley, Idaho. This was one that we looked at because we couldn't quite figure out what was going on. Why was Erika going to Haley, Idaho over and over? Or why was that plane going to Haley, Idaho? We've got a sneaking suspicion now. You guys remember Kalispell, Montana played a role in a lot of these flights? Well, we have all those marked out now. We have all the flights in and out of Kalispell, Montana. And so what we will do is over time, we will begin to show you Nashville actually gets a remarkable amount of flights in and out of Nashville. The only person I know that lives in Nashville who may be connected to this is the country music sensation, but we can look at that. And even Knoxville. Knoxville gets a strange amount of activity from these flights, and I have speculation potentially as to why. But what this tool allows you to do is you can select by different planes. You can select and deselect different planes, and the map will change as you take the planes off. So if you are looking for a particular plane, this Delta Zulu plane, for example, you can see everywhere it went. If you click on another plane, let's say Delta Zulu and this Victor plane here, now you can begin to see where there is some overlap. We can look at concurrence. where these planes were on the ground at the same time with different planes. We can look at overlaps where these planes were on the ground within a short period of time, I think 6 hours of each other. And it's a really fascinating tool. So what I want to do tonight is look at the 2 planes I think Blake may be using, look at the 4 planes I think Erika Kirk may or may not be using. Again, I don't know any of this for sure. This is a lot of speculation. But you can begin to, going all the way back to January of 2025, you can begin to see where these planes start to congregate. So Phoenix, Arizona, it doesn't surprise anyone that 3 of the TPUSA planes are on the ground at the same time in Phoenix because that's where they're from. But then you get to one like this, and you get the Victor plane, and this green plane here is potentially a plane that's being used by Blake Wynn. Again, all these planes are also off for charter, so they could be anyone else at these places, at these locations. But now you see where this plane is on the ground in Burbank at the same time as one of the TPUSA planes that gets used from time to time. And so that's how this tool works. So I want to focus tonight on after Charlie Kirk passes away. We'll go back later and look at before, but I want to look at after. And I want to look at the 2 planes Mr. Wynn may or may not be using, and the 4 planes that Erika Kirk and TPUSA people may or may not be using, and just see, is there any overlap? Do they ever line up at the same place? Well, if we're looking exclusively for the green and orange plane here, I guess we'll call it, we just kind of have to scroll up and look for it and see what we find. So the first overlap we find here is in Chicago, Illinois. So Chicago, Illinois, they're there at the same time. They're at different airports. They're 24 miles apart. But they were there at the same time on the 19th. That is the day before Charlie's private funeral and 2 days before the public memorial. So you have the Delta Zulu plane that was the Charlie Kirk charter plane the morning that Charlie Kirk passed away, and it was used extensively by Erika after Charlie Kirk passed away. And you also have this Victor plane, and they're both on the ground in the Chicago area at the same time the day before both of those took place. Now we come up here to this plane. This is a different plane, the BA, this Bravo Alpha plane, on the ground in Palm Beach, Florida, the same time as 2 planes associated with TPUSA. And this is the day after Charlie Kirk's memorial. So you have the Delta Zulu plane and the Mike plane on the ground at the same time as this Bravo Alpha plane. So there is potential overlap there as well with TPUSA people and with Blake Wynn's people. Again, this is potential overlap. This is not guaranteed, bet all your money on it. Now you get this one, the Mike plane. This plane is also used by TPUSA, also in Palm Beach, also on the ground at the same time as we'll call it the Erika Kirk plane at this time, and the potential Blake Wynn plane. So we've got several pieces of overlap that start to develop very quickly. Now, this Dulles, we know the overlap. We know this analysis works because we know Erika Kirk flew into Dulles on the 13th because the following day was the Charlie Kirk award ceremony where he was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom. And we know that Blake Wynn was there. And so this suspected Blake Wynn plane, this Victor that we've suspected Blake Wynn is on, we're pretty sure he was on because there is a picture of the 2 of them in the same place. And our analysis predicted that they would be in the same place. That's Erika's plane. That's his plane. And if you remember, there were other TPUSA people there. There's another TPUSA plane there. So not only did they fly 1 plane round trip at about $150,000, they flew 2 planes round trip at about $150,000. And it just goes on. And so now you have a San Antonio to Dulles. Again, another plane joins the foray here. This is the same trip. But then you start getting some overlaps that we don't have pictures of. So they may not be together at all. Maybe these are different people chartering the plane out. We're not sure. This is in San Jose, California. Here's another one in San Francisco, California. Here's another one in, well, that's a different plane. Here's one in Vegas. That is a TPUSA plane that is used sometimes by TPUSA people on October 25th. And it's in Las Vegas at the same time as the plane sometimes used by Blake Wynn, we believe. And this goes on and on and on. And so over time, what I want to do is begin to fill this out and say, how often can we put these groups of people in the same place? Blake Wynn's people and TPUSA people. We'll do it. Initially, we'll do it after Charlie Kirk passed away. Later, we'll go back and look before. For example, here's one of the flights into White Plains, New York on November 3. This is the Bravo Alpha version of that. And then the Victor plane comes that same day. So both of the planes we believe Blake Wynn may use or his people may use, both flew into White Plains, and they were both on the ground at the same time as one of the TPUSA planes. Then we have Palm Beach. These planes all go to Palm Beach. That's the same plane there. That's the Erika, a potential TPUSA plane and a potential Blake Wynn plane. And I'm using potential and allegedly and covering myself in every legal way I know how, because I cannot state with certainty that these things are true. But what I would suggest is there are a lot of overlaps between these sets of planes. Whether or not those overlaps correspond to people, we can't yet state with certainty. We do know some of the overlaps we can state with certainty because we have pictures. Pictures from Palm Beach, pictures from Washington, D.C., pictures from Arkansas, pictures from other places. Interestingly, there are times, though, we only see one of the planes. And I'm going to come back to this in just a second. But interestingly, there's times we only see one of the planes. But we have pictures of them together, which may suggest they were actually flying together back and forth. Arkansas comes to mind, and the White House Correspondents' Dinner. There's only one plane. We can't find a plane for him. We can only find a plane for her. We can only find one of the TPUSA planes. And then after the White House Correspondents' Dinner, it looks like one plane goes to Scottsdale and then continues on to Las Vegas. Whether or not she continued on or whether they dropped some people off in Scottsdale and she and others continued to Vegas, or whether he alone continued, we don't know. And again, we don't even know that he was on the plane. But you just kind of got to speculate. Now, I want to go to times we know we have them in the same place at the same time. Or actually, let me do this. Let me go to places where I know she was. That's an easier way to look at it. And then we'll go back and look at the planes in just a second. And then we'll wrap this analysis for the night. And then we'll come back later and we'll look before. So we know after the event, after the Big Bang in Utah, September 15th, we know that one of the planes associated with Blake Wynn flew into Scottsdale. It landed in Scottsdale. It was there overnight, came in at 6:30 p.m. and it left at 2:50 the next day. And there was a public event that day at Arizona State University, I think, or there was some kind of public memorial for Charlie Kirk on the 15th. Then we have on the 21st, we know where she was because that was the very public memorial of his the president spoke. It was we call it his funeral, but it wasn't really a funeral. But if we go back and look at the planes, we can tell that he did in fact fly in for that because we have his plane on the ground at that time. Now, where else was she? She was at TPUSA with Ole Miss. She was in New York for the Fox Patriot Awards on November 6th, and his plane flew in that morning and left that evening. Her plane flew in a little afternoon and left that evening. So they were both again on the ground at the same time if he was on that plane. Then we have the Ducks game in Oregon. We have her going, that's November 14th, November 22nd, Megyn Kelly appearance. November 3rd, she goes back to New York for the book summit. December 6th and 7th, that's the Mar-a-Lago Gala. December 8th, the Hannity book promotional tour. December 10th, she had the town hall with Barry Weiss in New York. And one of the planes that can be associated with Blake Wynn, or that we believe he may travel on, also flew into New York from Palm Beach that same day. Now, could have not been him. It could have been him on the ground doing something completely else. Might have just been coincidence, but they were there. Those two planes were there at the same time. December 18th through 21st, we have Amfest in Phoenix. Then we have the Peach Bowl in Atlanta, January 9th. The Make Heaven Crowded Tour, January 21st. The Make Heaven Crowded Tour in San Diego, which we're not 100% sure whether she went to that or not, but that was January 22nd. And then the State of the Union address, February 24th. And then the Arkansas event where we know they were together because we saw pictures, but we only see one plane. That was March 11th. And then the Blake Wynn plane, allegedly, the Victor plane that we believe he sometimes uses, did an overnight in Scottsdale, came in on the March 22nd and left on March 23rd. Could have been someone else on the plane. Could have been him seeing someone else. We don't know. Could have been him seeing her. We don't know. We don't know what that plane was. March 31, we have another overnight in Scottsdale from the same plane. And then April 2nd, she's back in D.C. with Caroline Levitt. April 12th, she's at Mar-a-Lago. And the Victor plane that we believe Blake Wynn sometimes flies on landed in Palm Beach the day before at 2:53 p.m. And then the Georgia event where we saw that plane then go to Athens, but she did not go to the event. That took place on the 14th. And then you had the Red Wall event where the president spoke on April 17th. The reason I'm going through all this is going to be a lot of analysis. She's a very busy woman. A very, very busy woman. And then, of course, the White House Correspondents' Dinner the night of April 25th, where she had a plane on the ground. We could find no corresponding plane to him. And then a plane left her home, Scottsdale, to go to Vegas, where he lives, afterwards, indicating they may have flown together. And then the Hillsdale College speech. While she was on the ground at Hillsdale College, the Victor plane that we believe Blake Wynn sometimes flies on flew into Flint, Michigan, very close to Hillsdale College, the same day. And then both planes were in San Diego on May 21st, just 10 days ago, 20th and 22nd. So there's a lot to unpack here. So what can I say I know for sure right now? Well, I know for sure that they have spent several days in the same place since Charlie passed. We're not looking before Charlie passed. We're just looking afterwards. Several times they've been in the same place. What can I not say for sure? I can't say that every overlap between all of these planes is a Blake Wynn, Erika Kirk concurrent appearance together, that they actually laid eyes on each other or saw each other or were in the same building or at the same event. I can't say that. I can speculate on some of them, but I can't say for sure. Likewise, I can't say for sure on days where I know they were together and I don't see a corresponding plane from him. I can't say for sure that they flew together. I can speculate, but I can't say for sure. And the final thing I can't say for sure is I don't know about the veracity of Project Constitution's reporting, and I don't know whether there's any kind of romantic inkling at all between them. They might just be good friends. They might just be business acquaintances. Maybe he's a massive donor to TPUSA. Maybe he's a supporter. Maybe he was a friend of Charlie's and just wants to look after his widow. I don't know. What would concern me is if he is in all of these locations and she doesn't know it. That would concern me because that would be kind of almost stalker behavior. I don't know that that's true. So that's one thing that would concern me. I would be concerned if he actually was on all these planes and she didn't know it. Like he was there, but he was, paying attention from a distance. That's weird. I hope that's not true. The second thing that would concern me is if they were at all these locations together because it's a lot. It's a lot of overlap between them. It's weird enough that he goes on a podcast and says that she's one of the very few people on the bucket list that he like respects to the moon. That's weird enough. It's weird enough that he's in Arkansas at the same time. Like, of all places to go, it's a one thing to be at Palm Beach, at Mar-a-Lago. That's a fancy place to go. It's another thing to be at the White House or in New York at the same time. It's quite another to be at Arkansas. I've been to Arkansas. It's a beautiful state. Arkansans, what do you guys, Arkansans, whatever you guys call them. Beautiful people, wonderful people, salt of the earth people. But, you know, if I'm rich and powerful and famous and have access to a private jet and could go anywhere, I don't know that I spend an afternoon at Arkansas watching Erika give a speech. Like, even if I like her, even if I think a lot the world of her, I don't know that I go to Arkansas unless there's something else there. But I can't get in his head. I can't get in her head. I have no idea. The final thing I'll say is I do not anticipate Erika Kirk will remain single forever. Maybe she will. Some widows do. But being in your mid-30s and being a widowed mother of two very young children, I don't know that I would speculate that she will forever remain a widow. No, she'll always be a widow, I guess. I don't know that she'll always be single. And what does that timing look like? I know the president kind of made fun of Thomas Massey for moving on too quickly. I think he got remarried like several years after his wife tragically passed away. Joe, or maybe it was Joe Ken he was making fun of. It was one of them. But she passes away in tragedy, and then he remarries several years later. And the president remarked that was too quick. I don't know. I mean, I guess that's personal taste, and we don't know a lot about their individual circumstances. But I suspect, Erika's a hot commodity. She's a powerful CEO of a huge political organization. She's very wealthy. She may tell people she's not, but she is. Very, very wealthy. Pretty gal. Conventionally attractive. I could see men wanting to potentially get romantically involved with her. I wouldn't blame them for that. And I could see her at some point, taking some suitor up on it, going through the courtship phase and moving on. That would not be a slap in the face to Charlie. That wouldn't be a destruction of Charlie's legacy. It wouldn't mean that she never loved Charlie. It wouldn't mean that Charlie's death was in vain and that she hated him. And it's just that's not what that means. I use Joe Ken as an example because I think on Mother's Day this year, he put up a Mother's Day post and he lauded his current wife and mother of some of his children, and she deserves that, I'm sure. But he also, in the same post, recognized his first wife, the one who passed away in war, and what a great mother she was to their kids. That doesn't mean he's slapping her in the face. It doesn't mean she wasn't enough. It doesn't mean that he didn't love her. It doesn't mean that he's moving on. It doesn't mean he's calloused and cold. It doesn't mean he had anything to do with her death. He clearly did not. It was in war. It just means two things can be true at once. He can still love the mother of his children who tragically passed away, and he can also love his new wife and mother of, I think, more of his children. And so I think everybody needs to take a breath, take a step back, and anticipate that at some point that news may break. Not with Blake Wynn necessarily. Again, I know nothing about them. They may be the most platonic people of all time. They do spend time together. He does speak very highly of her on podcasts that no one watches. But I do think everybody needs to take a deep breath, a step back, and prepare themselves for the fact that the very real fact that Erika Kirk may at some point become romantically involved with someone else. Whether that's now, 6 months from now, 6 years from now, it could happen. Absolutely 100% could happen. And what I think would be a terrible tarnishing of Charlie's legacy is for people to act like she's doing something wrong in that. And that's all I'll say. I will come to the widow's aid tonight. I will come to the widow's aid. And I will say, Erika, I have no qualms if some point down the road you decide to match up with someone else. In fact, I kind of expect it. And I, for one, will never hold it against you. Never hold it against you. I think it's just kind of what happens. A lot of times when someone's spouse dies and they're young and they have young kids, it happens a lot. I know a guy I used to go to church with whose wife very tragically passed away. I think he had like a 6-month-old or something. He remarried very quickly. Very quickly. Like, I think within like 6 months or a year. And I never asked him about it. I should have. I never asked him about it. But in my mind, I thought, he probably thought, how the hell am I going to raise a kid by myself? I had to work full time. I don't make I'm not rich. I don't make a ton of money. I can't afford a nanny. Like, how am I going to do this? And so if you strike up a relationship with somebody, it's like, hey, you want to mother my kid? Potentially mother a few more? You got to get this worked out. I never held it against him. I never for one time thought, oh, he must never have loved his first wife. I'm sure he adored his first wife, but it didn't change the economic and familial reality of where he found himself in that moment. He was in a spot. He was in a real spot. And so I think if reporting comes out that turns out to be true, whether or not Project Constitution's reporting was true, again, I'm not weighing in on that. I don't know. But if one day reporting does come out that happens to be true, or there's an image that comes out and she's holding some man's hand, or somebody does an overlap analysis of airplanes and realizes based on social media pictures and airplane overlaps that potentially there could be something going on here. I don't think everybody needs to panic. I think everybody should take a step back and say, well, let's say she wasn't Erika Kirk. Let's say she wasn't Charlie Kirk's wife. Let's say her husband wasn't assassinated. Let's say he died of a heart attack and she was just a woman who worked at an elementary school down the road. And, 9 months later, she was spotted out with somebody holding hands. I mean, would we panic? Probably not. Probably not. I wouldn't. I would. That said, Mrs. Coleman, if anything happens to me, I expect you to remain dressed head to toe in black forever, with a portrait of me above the fireplace, and you cry to it every day, all day. Real tears. None of this business. Like I'm expecting a shower of tears. There'll be no moving on. There'll be no moving on. I'm irreplaceable, lovely. I kid. Well, I don't kid. I don't kid. I kid about kidding. I kid about kidding about kidding. So, we will continue to look into this because, for one thing, this is a really valuable tool. We've got a lot of airplanes in here, and access to a lot of airplanes and jets that I think may have played a role in Charlie Kirk being removed from life. And I think a lot of this data points to particular locations that have become of interest to me that I've not covered tonight because they took place before he passed away and we haven't looked at that tonight. But there are some particular locations, particularly southern Arizona, that are very interesting to me. Provo, Utah, Salt Lake City, Utah, and others. I don't want to name them all, but those are obvious. St. George, for example, Provo, Salt Lake, Tucson. Those are very obvious, interesting locations for airplanes. There are more that I find extremely interesting. And we're going to use this tool. and we're gonna evaluate a lot of these flights and try to determine if there are some interesting overlaps or some interesting visits. Now that we have a tool we can better visualize things on. It's just hard when you're just looking at a grid of flights. For example, a lot has been made about the Egyptian flights, and people largely quit talking about them. I almost never covered them at all. In fact, a lot of commenters would say, what do you think about the Egyptian flights? I said, that's not my forte. I don't know. Well, the reason was I didn't have a tool like this. I have a tool like this. I didn't have any way to visualize, when an Egyptian flight lands, who comes and goes around that flight. Well, I will. And we've begun that process. And I'm now able to look and see. And there's some interesting flight patterns around a lot of those flights. And I noticed because of the pushback Candace got the first time she mentioned any of those Egyptian jets, and I think there's 7 of them that I've been able to locate here in the United States, 4 in particular that were fascinating and 3 others that may be fascinating the more we look at them. But where do those planes go? And do any of these other planes change their patterns in the presence of those planes? I will assure you right now, the answer to that question is yes. Based on the little time I've spent looking at it, the answer to that question is yes. Egyptian plane flies into location A, and then these planes who have never been to that city that I could find might go 5 or 6 times in the next few weeks to that location. That's weird to me. Particularly when they arrive from that location and arrive to that location and leave from that location, and almost always go to Washington, D.C., Palm Beach, or overseas immediately. Like that's their next destination. I will begin to cover that here in the next week, but next few weeks. When we have time to really sit down and plug all this stuff in and come up with a chart, and I'll show you, hey, look, Egyptian plane flies into city A. This plane B, has never been to that city that I can find, but it goes 6 times the next 3 weeks to that location. It never stays very long, and then it always goes to Palm Beach, to Washington, D.C., or to the Caribbean every single time. Well, that's a weird pattern. It may have nothing to do with anything, but it's a weird pattern. It's a very weird pattern. It bears investigation just because investigations really depend on 2 things. Pattern break. If you see a pattern, that's worth investigating. If you see a pattern break, that's really worth investigating. A plane that's never visited city A but goes 6 times immediately following the arrival of an Egyptian jet and goes to Washington, D.C., Palm Beach, or overseas every single time it leaves that location, well, that's a pattern break. It almost becomes its own pattern. It happens so much. So we're going to see that. We're going to open that up. We're going to look at it. This is a very valuable tool. I give Daisy a tremendous hats off for putting this together. I mean, this is top-notch investigative work. Get yourself a Daisy. Get yourself a Daisy. You people out there just floundering around. You can't do it. You can't do it. You can't do it. If you have not taken the opportunity to like the show, please, by all means, now's an excellent time to like the show. If you have not subscribed, I made this comment on the last show. A lot of you think you're subscribed. You go check and you've been unsubscribed. Hundreds of comments, emails, DMs on Twitter, tags on Twitter of people saying, oh my, I was subscribed. I had notifications clicked and I had been unsubscribed. Double check that you're subscribed. It's happening over and over and over. So even if you know you're subscribed, go look right now. See if you're subscribed. If you're not, go ahead and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. Click all and like the video while you're there. It helps. I don't want to say cheat the algorithm, but it helps play the YouTube algorithm to push us up. If you don't catch the show live, Spotify's an excellent place to watch a replay. YouTube's an excellent place to watch a replay. And I do put the replays eventually up on Rumble. Rumble and I are still fighting. And as long as we're fighting, I'm not going to make it easy for people to watch over there. When we settle our beef, I'll start simulcasting over there again, but we're having trouble, Rumble and I. are arguing with one another. So don't take it personally, grumblers. We'll get back up there, but it may take a little while. I have to get them to agree to a few things. And it's all about user experience. It's nothing that'll benefit me. It'll benefit you. It's all about user experience. They just are lacking some tools that they absolutely need to incorporate. I think that's it. Like the video, subscribe. Yeah. Let me get through some of your comments over here. You guys are always so patient, always so kind. Blake is such a Joe. Oh, well, which one? We're now up to like 4 Blakes. They're not all Joes. They're not all Joes. Best show, best intro music ever. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. That Matt from Trigger Smart put that intro together. So give him all the credit. All the credit. Blake Neff, Speed Racist. Welcome in. Blake Neff, welcome in. I hope you're still watching. Congratulations on your granddaughter, brother. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Yeah, she's amazing. Absolutely amazing. I spent yesterday with her. Pray for me. Broke collarbone and several ribs whilst watching the Dre live last week. Christ is king indeed. You said whilst, so I know you're overseas. Oh, yeah, elbows. Pray for your broken collar and several ribs. Sounds like you took a tumble. X is going nuts over Candace being in Russia. It has been comical. You know who else is in Russia? I sent this to Dre. You know who else is speaking at the exact same event? Let me pull this up and tell you. Trump's White House ballroom commissioner is speaking at the same event that Candace is speaking. Trump's White House ballroom commissioner. So if you guys are going to attack Candace as being a Putin troll and a Putin puppet, go after the ballroom. I dare you, Gary. I dare you. Go after the ballroom, Gary. The ballroom commissioner's there, same event. Welcome in, Blake Squared. Yes, all the Blakes, welcome. Congratulations to the Colemans on the new baby. I'm sure your daughter and son-in-law love being so close for all your expertise and help. But we have an amazing support system around the new granddaughter, so thank you. Blake is a crybaby, in my opinion. Oh, I think it's more nefarious than that. Crybaby is a very kind way to put it. Go Max, I plan on it. Project Constitution. I absolutely plan on it. Baron, I'm moving Florida to North Carolina for 6 months. I've been listening with earbuds while packing. Your show keeps me company and keeps me sane during the move. Much love. You're only moving for 6 months. That sounds miserable. I hate moving. I had this conversation with Jesse last night. Yeah, well, or early this morning. It was after midnight. I hate moving. I hate everything about it. You have to pack up all your stuff. You got to decide, am I keeping this? Am I throwing it out? Back hurts, shoulders hurt. I'm sorry, HH, for the X-Space idea. Maybe Zoom. Oh, Moon Goddess, that was you? Yeah. The X-Space was disastrous. It was an absolute disaster. I got to show you something. My wife and I found these at the Publix. They're little sour lemon drops. And I've been looking at them. They're neither sour nor sweet. It's weird. But they're good. And I've been looking at them this whole show, but I can't. They're big. Like, look, I'll show you how big they are. There's no way I can put one of these in my mouth and you guys not hear it. So I'm not going to do it. But I've been like, my mouth is watering every time I look down. I keep wanting to get after one of them. Maybe Zoom. No, we're not going to do a Zoom. Why did Tucker help Blake Sneff, the soft-boiled egg, to get the job at TPUSA and praised him on the Charlie Kirk show post September 10th, knowing what he is? Because he's loyal, if I had to guess. I knew he was a creeper. Blakey, shame on you. Well, allegedly, in my opinion, Tucker must regret that referral. Christ is king indeed. I don't know. I don't know. I doubt he thinks about it much. Shout out to Nikki from In Cahoots podcast for referring to Blake Neff as an egg. She said hard-boiled, though. Well, yeah, hard-boiled. Barone, hello from Iowa. If you're an Iowan listening or no one, vote tomorrow or Tuesday for Charlie's friend Zach Lon for governor. Do not let Trump get his Union Party candidate in as governor. Go Max for Charlie, Iowa. Didn't even know that was happening. Good luck to you. Why is it? And that's not a paid advertisement. It's a comment. It doesn't need a disclaimer. And just in case you do, vote for the other guy too. Let me get back in here. Why is anything surrounding Blake Neff being described as remarkable? Oh, I think it's remarkable that thread got revived while he was on his way back from Asia. Whether or not he did it, I think he did. It's just my opinion. Tucker convinced Charlie Kirk to hire Blake Neff. Yeah. I'm aware of that. I was aware. Hey, Barrett. Catching up on stream right now. Sucks when you, Zach, and Candace don't stream. Excuse me. Just been me and Lionel these days. Have a great weekend. Lionel's great. I like Lionel a great deal. I have tremendous respect for his broadcasting ability. Shabbat shalom. Blake Neff needs no comb. That was funny. You guys make me laugh. My cough gets going. I'm not on lisinopril, guys. I'm not on lisinopril. While Shapiro's big brows could carpet home. I wasn't done. I didn't know that. Shabbat shalom. Blake Neff needs no comb, while Shapiro's big brows could carpet a home. In stanza. Thank you, Granddad Coleman, for your tenacity and never letting the trolls distract from this truth-seeking mission. Oh, we're doing our best here. Blake Neff got rejected in Asia. Love you no time. Immediately renews rage posting. That's kind of how I envisioned it went. I don't even think he got rejected. I think he just has such, this is my opinion, allegedly my opinion. I think he has such hate in his heart for minority women that being around them all that time, he just couldn't stand it. He looked that woman up, saw that she wasn't miserable, and decided to post about it. That's the only thing I can think of. We want your money. You speaking in Spanish? Because that's kind of how it's worded in Spanish, right? We don't want your money. Well, no, that'd be no, we want your money. No queremos. Tus manero. Mouse of a little child. Indeed, Sir Baron. Keep up the fantastic work. Christ, did I say mouse of a little child? I meant it if I did. I studied abroad in South Korea for a year in undergrad. If you ever have a chance to go, Koreans are incredibly kind and welcoming to Americans. Must go to Seoul, Busan, and Jeju Island. Not duly noted. Duly noted. Thank you. Off topic, but I've never been there, by the way. I've been reading Blacklisted by History. Do you think there's a Zionist infiltration of the government similar to the communist infiltration? Are you kidding me? Do you watch this show? If I've not made that clear, then I apologize. I've let you guys down. Yes. The answer is yes. It's always the guy with the bird nest on top of their head that want to be racist. The Asian lady rejected his shiny dome, so he's mad at them. Keyboard coward, give it a rest, bald Blakey. Bird's nest. From the first time I saw his face, I got the creeps. Christ is king. Congrats, new granddad. Well, I did too, but I mean, it's not nice to say out loud. Thank you for the congrats. They keep acting like women in our 30s. Don't want family red pill epidemic amongst men like Blake is a huge contributor. It isn't just us. Michaela, they're not all like Blake. Most men, I think, are more than capable of being fantastic husbands. Good providers, good lovers, well, might have to teach them a thing or two. But you know what I mean. Good. When I said good lovers initially, I meant like very kind and caring. I didn't mean whatever, but I think most men are more than capable of it. Now, a lot of them need to grow up a little bit. We've infantilized an entire generation, so we have 40-year-old children, but I think the right woman could get them to grow up. I have strong opinions about that, but I've never really given them. Maybe I should. I have very strong opinions on what men need. I'll give it away. Here it is. You want it, ladies? Your marriage suffering? I want to write a book. Men are like dogs. Men are like dogs. And I mean that in the best way possible. Feed your dog. Pet your dog. Tell your dog he's a good boy. You do those 3 things, your dog is going to be really loyal. You never pet the dog, it's not going to be a very friendly dog. You don't feed the dog, not going to be a very friendly dog. You don't talk to your dog and tell him he's a good boy, it's not going to be as friendly as it could be. You feed your dog, you pet your dog, you tell your dog he's a good boy, and you just overdo it. Like, does anybody walk in and like, hey, dog, pat him on the head and move on? No. Hey, buddy, how you doing? Pet him on the haunches, pet him under the armpits, get his sides and his ribs right over the top of the tail. There's a lesson there, ladies. There's a lesson. Now, you don't require anything of the dog before you do all that. But when you do all that, you get the best dog in the world. When did the Korea trip get planned and by whom? They had to get him away. He was too bright to not discern their plot. I don't know the answer to that. Thank you. I was on vacay with fam last week, been getting caught up. I missed you all and missed so much. Have church tonight. We'll watch after church. Jesus loves you. Sunday night. I mean, we go to church sometimes Sunday night. I get it. Well, most people go Saturday night or Sunday morning, I think. Do people go Sunday night? Anyway. Yeah, we missed a lot of people on vacation. I got a lot of messages from people saying I got to get caught up. I've been on vacation all week. I'm like, you can watch on vacation. Fellow vacationers may not love it, but priorities. All this from Blake is projection. Plain and simple. I'm disturbed by Blake's profile. Like a view of him from the side, or what do you mean by profile? Because I think he knew when it was taken, it could be the last. Oh, and he planned to use it immediately. I'm so disturbed. Which one? On X? Let me look. Profile pic. Blake Sneff. There we go. Blake Sneff. Oh. I don't know when he changed that. But I do know he's Blake and gay. Allegedly. Not that there's anything wrong with it. Have you had time to watch John Cullen's recent videos regarding the Hades plane? He's wondering out loud about how nobody is covering, and there seems to be clear evidence of drones being deployed. We love the show, BC. I've never seen evidence of a drone at the event. I know people see drones and all these. I've never seen evidence of it. Not convincing. That's not to say there were no drones. I'm not a drone expert, particularly a micro drone expert. I'm not. But I will say the Hades planes are capable of so much more. And since you watch him, Jay Woo Woo, will you let him know that it's not just at Salt Lake, but it's also at St. George the night of September 11th that a Hades plane flew over? He won't see it on any flight tracking software until he looks specifically at that location, because it doesn't land. So tell him, please. Thank you for that. Watching RBP here in my home as a single 40-year-old woman, realizing that I don't want to be like gross Blake in any way, shape, or form. LO, so any guy out there as smart and handsome as our humble host that loves Jesus? Love you, Baron. Love you too, Danny. Danny Rodriguez is looking, ladies and gentlemen. Be careful what you ask for. You might get a lot of creepsters. I think Blake's a Nephil hybrid, not human. Oh, I don't think so. Those were men of renown. Not Blake. Hey, Baron, today's my birthday. It's your birthday. Nikita. Happy birthday, Nikita. I've been watching you since you were on Candace. Keep up the good work. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. So sad CK was duped by these bad actors. I loved TPUSA until 9/10. Going to Amfest and seeing the death tent was my final straw. Hard to avoid them in Metro Phoenix, being in GOP politics, but I tried my best. Can you believe they put that tent out? I still can't believe it. I saw it with my own two peepers. Well, I saw a picture of it. I still can't believe it. It gives serial remover vibes. Yes, Victoria. I think so. I agree. I hate to say it, but I agree. Have we checked for missing minority women in and around Blake? I'm not suggesting they're there, or he would do such a thing. But I think it's worth looking. I cringe when this geriatric Chinese crested is brought to the conversation. It hurts to think Charlie was surrounded by a brood of vipers. Charlie, even though I disagree with him politically, seemed like a genuine guy. I disagreed with a lot of Charlie's politics. I was very clear about that. I've been very clear about that every time I've talked about it, particularly his foreign policy positions up until the last year or so. But I was a very much a not fan of his foreign policy, but I always had great respect for him as a person. Always. Life's rough, then you get a creeper stalker, Blakey. And it's way more rough. Is there a Blakey manifesto? Usually have one someone needs. Yeah, it'll be telling if TPUSA keeps him around after that thread got fired back up on his way back from Asia. It'll be telling. Love your high IQ outfit. Please tell my friend Waldo Ekman happy birthday. War Eagle, and Dougie Doug, and happy birthday, Waldo. Anyone who has been in an abusive narc relationship behind closed doors knows Blake is giving classic characteristics, likely low down happy, no judgment on happies, argues like a fifth grader, etc. He can't help himself. Some people are their own worst enemies. Some people are their own worst enemies. And a lot of smart people are their own worst enemies. And I think he may be one of those. Baron Andrew Colvett, newly homeless outfit was intentional. He was trying to dress as Charlie. Charlie often wore that same outfit or similar. Charlie never looked newly homeless. He never looked newly homeless. He looked ridiculous sometimes. I showed a picture tonight where he was wearing knee-high socks with shorts. But it was charming because that was like his thing. He was a weird guy. Andrew's not a weird guy. Andrew's dapper. And so when he looks newly homeless, you know he was not expecting to be on stage. Baron, you couldn't be more correct in my high IQ opinion. The woman rejected Blake, the fake, and his obsession became rage. Incel checks out. Could be. I don't know. That's just you. Off topic, I'm in San Antonio and didn't know about Erika's Women's Leadership Summit until national coverage. Theory. Ticket sales low. National reports of threat released. We now know Women's Leadership Summit's going on and security will be tight because of threat. Fed slot narrative to push tick sales. Not a bad theory at all. Not a bad theory at all. I like it. TPUSA sent me a letter asking for money. I drew a dong on it and said no money while EK, Blake, Neff, EK are there. I'm a child. It's fine. Also, congrats, Grandpa. I think it's hilarious. Would that everybody drew dongs. Strange how Blakey says Candace is jealous because Charlie didn't hand TPUSA to her. Weird to keep saying that. Makes you wonder. CK said he wanted Candace back and they'd too fake he left it to Erika. Yeah, so interesting point on that, by the way. They keep saying he hadn't talked to her in years. You know, you notice she's always using her stuff from 5 years ago. He didn't even like her. His text thread the day before he died was, I'm inviting Candace. And she spoke at a TPUSA event like the year before, if I'm not mistaken. I don't have all my TPUSA speaker lineups engraved in my mind, but I'm pretty sure in like 23 or maybe even 24, she spoke at a TPUSA event. And she was still on the payroll and on their website until like months after he passed, if you recall. Who am I to bring up facts? That is so rude, Baron, bringing up facts. Blake has a problem with Asians. AK wanted Drewski to do black conservative women, and EK emphasized how important young whites are. Seeing a pattern, none of it aligns with Charlie Kirk. Disgusting. I think you kind of nailed that. Why does she defend things normal people accept? Normal to date again, normal to date before Charlie, but everything else, she's silent on. Image obsessed. Yeah, that's what I don't understand. Like the whole, I didn't date for 5 years before Charlie. Why? Why would you say that? I mean, it's normal. You're in your mid-30s. Early 30s. It'd almost be weird if you didn't date. Can they fire him? Yeah. Will he then get after them? He'd be a loose end they can't afford to have. Thank you, RBP team. I didn't think they did anything wrong. I thought Tyler Robinson was a lone wolf. What could Blake possibly get after them about? Are you suggesting if they don't, then maybe Tyler Robinson wasn't a lone wolf? Well, that's an interesting theory. That's very interesting. Baron, if he was fired from Fox because of that, then Tucker should have known. What if he told CK about it after he was hired? Go Max. I doubt Charlie didn't Google the guy he was going to hire. It was everywhere. Love from your biggest South Kakalaki fan. Thank you. Warren, buenas tardes. Please correct my grammar spelling. English is my second language. Blake, if watching the show, you may need to take more English lessons. Hey, your English is nearly flawless. Nearly flawless. If you are watching the show, it's the only thing I would have added, but in Spanish, it would be if watching. Yeah. So yeah. I mean, don't worry about it. We're forgiving people. We Norteamericanos. Very forgiving people. I go to Erika Kirk Women's Leadership Summit to get raw footage of Erika Kirk in all her unfavorable glory. But at $200 a ticket, hard pass. I'd rather support our humble host and family. Christ is king indeed. Well, that's very kind of you. Very kind. The Women's Leadership Summit's weird. It used to be the Young Women's Leadership Summit. It was always the Young Women's Leadership Summit. I think this is the first year that just the Women's Leadership Summit, which makes me wonder, could they not sell tickets to young people? Young people don't like TPUSA anymore. It's becoming more obvious. All their events are now just blue hairs. And no offense to our blue hair audience. We love blue hairs around here. Big fan of blue hairs. Big into blue hairs. Love blue hairs. But when your whole shtick is we go to college campuses and we're the biggest youth movement, it's kind of damning when your audience lately has not been youth people. And whenever you try to have an audience with youth people, they don't show up. Young people don't like her. I do love the win, but Cosmopolitan is my number one for stay. Bellagio for pool. Shameless MGM plug for all three. Shout out to all my Vegas lovers, fam. I don't know what any of that means. I don't gamble. Used to gamble. Finney Bigwig and TPUSA watches our humble host. It's way past time to shut down the Charlie Kirk show. Painfully irrelevant now and comes across as desperate, which tells me and you, because no one watches it, that it's on for some other reason. It's not on to turn a profit. There's some other reason it's still on. Because if you remember the New York Times interview Andrew Colvett did with Ross Douthat, he said that he thought they would shut the show down, and Erika insisted they keep it going. That raises the question, ¿por qué? Miriam Adelson is in the gambling business. Connection, small world. Don't know. Small world indeed. I'll catch up later. Spending a few days with my sister in Middle Tennessee. Leaper's Fork. Miss y'all. Yeah. I've been there. Mrs. Coleman and I were right there last week or 2 weeks ago, where we took our little mini. TPUSA needs to realize Blake Neff ain't up to snuff. Allegedly. In my opinion. I don't have anything to add to that. Sad. Allegedly a closeted, just like another we know. It brings all the Bates Motel energy you can imagine. I didn't think we were going to get a Bates Motel reference tonight. Baron, you're a baby grandpa, and I love your brain. I'm 46. It's quite the old grandpa. I'm old as white dirt. Thoughts? I think the show hasn't shut down because they probably paid EK outrageously for licensing the trademark she filed 3 weeks after Charlie Kirk. Part of the deal is likely marketing good reputation of Erika Kirk. I don't know about that part. Honestly. I don't think that's why. Erika Kirk in the magic bucket of fish. Let's keep Sydney out of this if we can. We don't know what was going on with them. We don't know. Hit the like if you think Baron is the best grandpa. Oh, that's a great one. How many likes are we at now? I'll have to check in a few minutes. Then we'll know what you guys really think of me. Okay, I see where we are. We're less than half live people right now have liked, by the way. So get on it. Y'all hit the Heart button. I forget to. Yeah, we all forget. We all forget. Seems to me, in my opinion, Erika goes for dorky looking guys. I find it a little weird, allegedly. Let me say this. I think that JT guy she dated was a very good looking guy. I think Cabot Phillips is a fine looking guy. Charlie's a little dorky, but in his own kind of, I mean, he's tall, he's athletic, he's fit. I mean, he wore knee-high socks with shorts. It's a little weird, for being honest. But he didn't fit her typical profile. I will say that. Don't look now, but our greatest ally has placed Candace and Tucker on a particular list. Keep them safe at all cost. Christ is king indeed. I saw that allegation on Kim Iverson's show. Blessed are the poor. Straight out of Luke. Straight out of Luke. I'm embarrassed for Gary. I watched his show with the lady that laughed the whole show. No way high IQ people take her seriously. I can't believe you suffered through that. I can't remember the last time I watched Gary. It's been a while. Steve Wynn could pass for the alleged TR stairwell picks. Love you, Baron. Congrats on becoming a granddad. Christ is king. Steve Wynn's in his 80s. He couldn't pass. But the young guy, I don't think his hair color matches, does it? Let me see. I don't think his hair color matches. Maybe. I didn't even consider that, so I wasn't looking for that. I don't know where my run is, or I'd find it. Yeah, I'll have to look later. Well, there's the drive, so I could. There it is. Let me look up a picture of him. Yeah, maybe actually. I think you mentioned it. I don't, and I'm not saying this to knock Blake Wynn, because I would not comment on someone's appearances like that. But I don't think his skin's good enough. But maybe, I don't know. Like he doesn't have great skin, you know. Like he suffered. Can't believe Charlie has zero idea who he surrounded himself with. All this circle is just gross. They give me the ick. Yeah, it's certainly not ideal. Where does she find these rich circles? I'm single, not demonic. Actually, a doctor, attractive, dog mom of 2, loves Vegas. Will not plot your removal. Well, if you have to say that last sentence, you know, Michaela, that may be the problem. No, I kid. Guys, she's there. Track her down on YouTube. Send her a message. Loves Vegas. I mean, what more could you want? Erika, if you've moved on, don't worry. We won't judge you. We all know we grieve differently. Yeah, well, there's that. Blakey Neff, narcissistic creeper. He's the reason women carry pepper spray, allegedly, in her opinion. And mine. Because I think you're on something. I think Blake was interested in Asian women, and she turned him down. Asian woman, and she turned him down. Posting obsessive, nasty comments for years and hating the entire race of a girl that turned you down is textbook incel behavior. Your opinion. Don't you mean Medal of Freedom? Oh, did I? Yeah. Sorry. Was I saying Medal of Honor? Apologize to my veterans. Apologize. Medal of Honor has long been military only. That is correct, and I apologize for that mistake. That was in error if I said that. I don't recall saying that, but I very likely did, because I often confuse things. I don't know why, but when I see the I Want to Go Home video of Erika Kirk and her long hair swaying behind her, I see my elementary school janitor swinging a rope mop down the linoleum floor hallway. Is this low IQ thinking? No. Nothing low IQ about seeing janitors and mops. Kidding me? Originally from AR. Oh, Arkansas. I've liked Sarah. Unfortunately, Daddy is ambassador to you know who. I think she's compromised because Daddy's compromised. Hate it. Yeah. Those J names in Blake, ladies know. I don't know, but ladies know. Wow, that's a great idea for a tool. Excited to see where this goes. Oh, yeah. Wait, it gets so much better. Truth evades. It's a great tool. Hi, Baron. EK will marry this Mr. Blake Wynn. And I can only imagine how it's going to finish up. She, of course, needs his money badly. No, she needs no one's money. She needs no one's money. Not badly. I mean, I once had someone say, this was when I was working in politics. I asked what motivated these people, because you have these really wealthy people who were breaking the law and risking going to prison. I said, well, these people are already rich and they're multimillionaires. Why are they risking going to prison? He said, the only thing better than money? And I said, no. He goes, more money. I think a lot of people think that way. I don't. Good work, Baron. Are you familiar with the YouTube channel, The Leah Files? Very. I like her work. Seems to be have some very valuable and excellent research on TPUSA dodginess. Yeah, if you've not checked out her X feed, it's also excellent. I wonder if Blake Wynn is the father of Erika's son. Prior to Charlie's death, I wonder if they could be tracked together. Ooh. I doubt it. I have a picture of Charlie's son, though, and I'm looking at his face in my head. Looks like Erika. There's a lot that sneaks by in Utah, Idaho, Arizona, Eastern Washington, and the Dakotas and Wyoming. This case is the first time these areas are under a microscope. If you know, you know. I don't know. So thank you for informing me. They're together at dinner where Erika looks like a bride playing in the curtains. Well, I didn't think about that. Yeah, you're right. She did. She was all up in the curtains. Stay out the curtains. Actually, didn't I cut a deal with her where she could play in my curtains? I think I did a week or so ago. Erika, you can play in my curtains. You're allowed. I'm not going to hold it against you. Tear them up if you want. These are like sound curtains. These are sound eating curtains over here to my right. So they were expensive. I don't want anyone to tear them up. But I'm not going to threaten her. If she wants to tear up the curtains, come on. Yeah, Medal of Honor, high IQ. Yep, you're right. Nailed it. Sorry, guys. Could Blake have been the one with Erika at Fort Huachuca since the plane went to Las Vegas after? You're getting ahead of the story. I don't know. I could see how someone's saying he kind of looked like Cabot Phillips, though. Hey, B. Blake W. is 26 years old. Another example of EK allegedly with a much younger guy. Well, to be fair, all we know is that they took some pictures together at 4 different locations in 2.5 months. That's all we know. For a high-profile, successful woman, this seems super sus. Some women like younger men. I mean, On behalf of the South Dakotans watching, we do not claim Blake Neff speed. Blake, you're out of luck. I have bad news for you. You can't go home. Well, he'll be back and be like, well, Jesus said a prophet's not welcome in his own home. That's not the problem, Blakey. Can we all just acknowledge the irony of the supposed first date story being between a burger joint and a gym? Let's say this. I think it's been in my opinion, based on Tyler Boyer's quote that Nissy dragged up, I think it's beyond dispute, in my opinion, that whole burger joint first date starting as a job interview, I think it's a lie. My fear is, or my question is, why did Charlie go along with the lie? Unless he was just trying to romanticize the meeting a little bit, for the kids' sake. If he viewed it kind of as a white lie, maybe. But I think it's dishonest. I mean, I don't think it's true. I think they went on a date at the gym. Tyler pumped him up for it. He followed up with her in New York while he was going to be in town. Doesn't sound like a first date to me. The burger joint sounds like at least a second date. What's the connection with Tulsi G and all the TPUSA folks in Wynn? Odd, especially after Charlie Kirk death. Yeah, so it's interesting you mentioned that. I wasn't going to say this tonight, but I will since you asked it, because obviously everyone else is picking up on the same thing I picked up on. Joe Kent was told that he was not allowed to look into the potential of foreign involvement because Cash Patel stopped him, but the FBI stopped him. And it made it sound like Tulsi and he were both very eager to follow up on that. I'm starting to wonder if that's true. I'm starting to wonder if Tulsi wasn't one of the people stopping the look. Hello? I just figured out how to send more than $1.99. I'm lazy, so your sweetheart hasn't been sent yet. A sweatshirt hasn't, sweetheart. Your sweatshirt hasn't been sent yet. If you can remember, it's as original as you. I will never forget looking at the side of your head thinking with Ian. Oh, yeah. I got something. I haven't done a mail call lately. I usually do those on the member shows, but I haven't done one. But I got the sweetest thing for the baby out of the P.O. box last couple of days. I don't remember if it was yesterday or the day before. It's a little baby toy, and it's so sweet. Got like a little chew piece on it. It's soft, makes noise. Can't wait to give it to her. I haven't seen her since. Blake Wynn said he was having breakfast with Erika Kirk the day of the Big Bang. Weird breakfast. I think so. Charlie, Christ is King. That's not what he said. He said he was having breakfast with the podcaster that was interviewing him. He didn't say he was having breakfast with Erika Kirk. I don't think. I'd have to go back and listen. I heard it as the Fargo guy. He will tell on them for CK if they fire him. Well, again, that assumes that they did something wrong. If Tyler Robinson's a lone gunman, then why would they have any fear? That suggests to me if they don't, maybe there is something. I don't know. I live in Knoxville. If you need me, I'm on the case. Oh, I appreciate it. But I honestly am weirded out by the Knoxville stuff. There are a bunch of plane stops in Knoxville, and I can't figure it out. Well, I mean, I've got a suspicion, but. Hey, Baron, hope you're well. In my experience, the only time a guy will hold a handbag, he either is your partner or really wants to be. I noticed the handbag. In fact, I sent the picture to a few women. Just said, hey, do you see anything? That video. You see anything in this video that makes you think anything weird? And to a person, they all commented on the handbag. Is he holding her handbag? Why is he holding her handbag? Is that her handbag in his hands? Several of them noticed. Actually, 100% of them noticed. Resembles Cabot Phillips. Where was this guy 9'10"? We'll have to see. You mean 9'8", 9'9", 9'8", 9'9". Dorky looking men who are wealthy. Erika definitely has a type. I think it's the wealthy part. Well, I don't know. Maybe she's into dorks. Steve Wynn's real last name is Weinberg. Well, no, his real last name's Wynn. His father or grandfather changed it. I can't remember which. Dust off glitter and touch your babies, Erika. Hi, Baron. Don't understand how TPUSA can claim to be a nonprofit and still pay for political rallies and such. It's a question a lot of us are asking. Maybe we should ask Mitch if Blake Wynn looks like the guy with EK at the fort before the Big Bang. Allegedly, maybe, perhaps. Just asking questions and inquiring minds want to know. I can do that. Hold, please. Copy link. Text. Oh, I can't text that from. I don't think. No, I can't. I can ask. I can ask. We love your show. Thank you, Jeremy Culpepper. My wife and I watch every episode. I have a rare genetic disease. Oh, gosh, you're going to make me pronounce words. I can do familial. Autonomatos polyposis. I'm not even going to say what the next three letters are. I can't fit all the details here. Asking for prayers and shares, please, of our story posted on Gifts and Go, Faith Over Fear. I'm sorry to hear that, and I absolutely will pray for you, Jeremy. I don't know what that is. Polyposis, mini something. I don't know, but I'm sorry for it. Erika may be setting up these meetings with intention, just like she did with Charlie. In my opinion, Blake might know too much. Can't fire him, maybe. Comment from Anita, my high IQ wife. Well, that again, that would indicate that they may not be innocent, and that's a tough spot to find themselves in if they need to cut someone loose. No pics of BW having a girlfriend or mentioned in the podcast. I do believe he has one, allegedly. But yeah, she's not in the bucket. She didn't make the bucket. He mentioned the bucket twice. 2 buckets. Bucket squared. Yes, we have a lot of money in Arkansas, but it's in Northwest Arkansas, a gorgeous place, but few people just going to Little Rock, not a tourist attraction. There was an HBO show when I was in high school called Gang Banging in Little Rock. I watched it like 100 times. That was gangster. Little Rock looks so rough. Can you imagine what Blake is thinking watching this? Yikes! Someone should take away his electronics to prevent a late night crash out this evening. Thanks, Baron and Daisy. Critter. Thank you. I hope he doesn't crash out. Has he crashed out yet? Let me look. No. Still not crashed out. Last crash out was May 29th. Could the BN messages be coded for a military audience for ulterior motives since he had ties to War College and bro still in military? I think he was sheep-dipped at Fox to sabotage Tucker with racist posts. I don't know. That seems like a stretch. Maybe he's just a racist. But maybe, allegedly, in my opinion. She'll always be single because she doesn't want half. The next hubby will have to think what really happened to Charlie. I didn't think about that. Guys might get cold feet going in. Or get cold feet while they're married. Call your congressman. Tell them to remove Section 224 from NDAA or be removed from office. We, the people, should not provide funding to IDF, and we shouldn't be sharing our military proprietary information with them. Christ is king indeed. Prayer for your family as always. Thank you. Many prayers. EK grieves differently. My mom still cries for my dad, and he passed away in 2013. Wow. Darling Gamini. Tough. My mom passed, and more than anything, I want my dad to move on. That's normal, natural. It's the least nefarious thing. Blows my mind she's so defensive. Well, I'd be defensive too if I wasn't doing it. But yeah, she's in a tough spot, honestly. It's the Medal of Honor, not the Medal of Freedom. Other way around. Medal of Freedom, not Medal of Honor. He got the Medal of Freedom, not the Medal of Honor. I said it wrong, so I apologize. Jesus loves you, Baron, with 1 R. Coleman. Oh, thank you. Loves you too. And everyone else hearing this, Red. Oh, thank you. Very kind of you. You know who's mentioned in the Einstein files? Steve Wynn. His jet also mentioned several times with MBS and JE and private jet CEO. I was not aware. Let me look real fast. Just a quick gander. Just a quick gander. Am I 18? Yes. 312 results for the last name. Let me look it up as a whole phrase with the first and last name. 52 results. Interesting. Oh, do you know Steve Wynn? Oh, let me click on this one. I'm in Paris for the week. You? Do you know Steve Wynn? Or I remember incorrectly. Thanks. B. Not this B. Different B. Interesting. That was in November of 2015. So yeah, he's in there. Discuss me how critical X is about widowers like Kenton Massey. What's concerning about EK is she's been sus from the beginning, and how quickly was she with someone else? Calls her even more into question. Well, I don't know that she was with him. They were certainly at the same place. I can only say that. Same place, same time, including Little Rock. Mr. B, EK will deny moving on while moving on. Well, that would be consistent with her pattern of not being an honest actor, in my opinion, allegedly. Some can't handle being alone, have to be with someone. There are worse things. Who else was at the table at the White House Correspondents' Dinner? Probably sat 10, if I had to guess. May help connect some of the planes. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Now the big question: what does Blake Wynn have to do with transportation? We'll get into that. I don't know that there's anything, but there were a lot of weird flights that we've tracked in that go to the border towns. B. Blake W.'s father is Kenny, younger brother of S. Wynn. Their father changed last name because of anti-S concerns. Another odd Philly connect. Well, I knew about the name change, but yeah, I think it was Blake's grandfather, maybe even great grandfather. It's been name change been a long time. Anything less than 1 year of mourning seems disrespectful, especially if you can afford childcare, like she can. In my opinion, not an issue of needing money help. Well, I agree she doesn't need the money. That was a regular sized bow tie on Cash Patel. Oh, I don't think so. It looked huge. It looked huge. The little bow ties are kind of in. That bow tie was like this. It was like one of the sides was like this. The other side was like this. I mean, it was huge. Yeah, that's my man purse. Don't make fun of me. I carry it everywhere. You're not kidding, Mrs. Coleman. The grand jury will watch you. Don't date or marry anyone else if something happens to our high IQ Judge Barron. See, Mrs. Coleman? We got eyes on you. But let's not let anything happen to Mr. Coleman. That's more important at this point. EK is copying Terry Irwin. She said Steve's love was enough to last her a lifetime. Also, didn't EK's grandparents have a hand in Vegas casinos? Christ is king indeed. There's a casino connection to the family, that's for sure. Baron, I just did a quick Google Trends search on Blake Wynn. He was searched heavily between 7/13 and 7/19, 2025 in Our Greatest Ally. That was a suspicious week from your prior analysis. That was a suspicious week. Let me see if I can replicate what you just did. Real quickly. Blake Wynn. You're saying the Greatest Ally, so I need to type that in. Greatest Ally. Now we need to do a custom. Well, let's just do 2025. Nothing over the year. So let's do custom time. July 01 of 2025 to July 31 of 2025. Apply. No, I see nothing. Did you do it without quotes? Did you do it without quotes? I still don't see anything. I can't replicate it. I'll have to double check that, but thank you for looking at it. We've changed the way news is done, ladies and gentlemen. Christ is king indeed. While the Blakey Sneff was even hired, considering Charlie's right-hand lady and COO was fired for supposed racist text. That's a great point. That's a really great point. They had just fired her too, like not too long before that. If EK had come out and said they were having marriage troubles, it would have clarified a lot of her reaction. Instead, she's pivoted to exploits his ex. Yeah, it would have, wouldn't it? Michaela's always tinking. Let's see here. I need you to buy merchandise, but we have an I kid shirt. I need to buy merchandise, but can we have an I kid shirt? We could probably do that. Nurse Casey, are you listening? I kid. I'd love one, just checking in and wanted to donate and say you were doing amazing, and we appreciate all your hard work. Great night spent with you and our community. Christ is king indeed. Yeah, thank you. That's very kind. We could probably whip up an I kid shirt. I like that. What a show. X is going to be popping after this bomb. Well, let's see. I'm disgusted that a nonprofit is spending millions of dollars a year to fly private. As a taxpayer, I'm subsidizing this. Correct. We need nonprofit reform. Correct. In my opinion, every nonprofit employee should be capped at what they can earn, and any incidental benefit should be taxed. So if you fly private, that's taxable. You spend $150,000 doing a round tripper. Guys, when we did this analysis on these planes, it is tens of millions of dollars that we were tracking down of flight time. Now, that might not all be them, but a lot of it is. A lot of it is. Yeah. Because of this research being done on air flights using public data, do you anticipate an uptake in nefarious activities via Greyhound buses? Keep up the great research. Christ is king indeed. Why would you do that when you could just rent a car? My super chat last show regarding Erika Kirk only attending 4 conferences, 3 for Calvary, 1 for TPUSA, was not that she did for leadership events. She didn't. These were all religious events. She has never led, allegedly, anything but now TPUSA, therefore a complete phony. You get no argument there from me. I mean, are you arguing? I hope you're not arguing with me. How did people like AK and Blake make it into Charlie's orbit? Andrew Colvett was stalked into his orbit by Johnny Moore. Who Johnny Moore was working for, we don't know, in my opinion. And Blake made it in because, are you talking about Blake Wynn or Blake Neff? I don't know about Blake Wynn. I don't know how he got in there. He was so intelligent, hard to think he was infiltrated by those closest to him. It kind of seems like he was. Baron, thanks for all you do and everything Daisy does too. Much love from your best Alaska supporter. May God bless you, your baby girl, and grandbaby. Christ is king indeed. Thank you. Thank you, Tama Love, my best Alaska supporter. Edge. EK must have some rocking, dependable childcare. No random college student there. No. Children may likely be in better hands. Yeah, maybe. I owned a drug and alcohol treatment center as well as 2 recovery homes, 4 years, and gave so much myself, I almost lost everything. I wasn't even nonprofit. TPUSA is a crime in real time. It sickens me, allegedly, in your opinion, and mine. We love you, B. Thank you. And Born, I'm sorry to hear you had a tough time of it. As always, great info. 3-time grandma here. It's the best gift from heaven. Congrats to your family on your new granddaughter. Christ is king. Iowa. Christ is king of the universe, not just Iowa, if we're being honest. But also Iowa. B, are you crazy? 9 months ago, I got a divorce 5 years ago and still won't entertain the thought of a man because I'm focused on raising my sweet, innocent daughters. Where are her children? I don't know. Ashley Galadina, I think is how you said to pronounce it last show. I think she says they're with her all the time. I don't know if they travel with her or not. I don't know where they are. Hi, Baron. FYI, Mar-a-Lago has been listed on the National Register of Historic Places since 1972. Retains its status as a National Historic Landmark built by Marjorie Merriweather Post in the 1920s. I was familiar with that, yeah. But frankly, nobody could have pulled off what it has become except for Donald Trump. Go read the history of how he combined the properties and how he got them to sell it, and it's just incredible. And he really put a lot of money into it. Credit where it's due. Incel is generous when it comes to Blake's Neff, B. Well, maybe. Blake Wynn may want to keep track of his name being searched on Google Trends by our greatest allies. Self-preservation. Baron says, put hubby in a crate. Get off my couch. Well, Michaela, I didn't say it quite like that. I said, pet, feed, tell good boy. Not put in crate. Unless he's into that. I mean, I don't kick shit. I totally agree with your analysis of Blake. I'm a retired psych nurse, and he is, in my opinion, obsessively dangerous. Have you ever just scrolled his feed? It's crazy how obsessive he is with Candace. It's crazy. In my opinion. He's a little too obsessed with it. King B, look at Neff's face in Charlie's Lose My Number clip regarding Candace. Hate runs deep. Yeah, I've looked. Still can't believe this happened in Happy Valley. And I was at the CK event. Feel like my home has been invaded by evil. Makes me sad. You guys call that Happy Valley? Happy Valley is in State College, Pennsylvania. Happy Valley. I didn't know there was another Happy Valley. I thought the UVU campus was called The Vineyard. That's how rich people say it. Oh, it happened to hit the Vineyard. I didn't know it was a valley. I mean, I'm not a geography buff. Perfect time for Don't Tell Me How to Live My Life, Fat Boy. That's a good point. I forgot. I need to tell him not to. Yeah, good call. I forgot I said that. I also love Anna and Cenk. Like Candace, Cenk is now banned from UK. Where do you think you will be banned from? Clearly not the Baltics. You're huge there. No, I'm huge in the Baltics. I don't think. What have I ever said that would get banned from anywhere? Why would I be banned from anywhere? There's no requirement, that I'm aware of, that I love TPUSA. Maybe there is. Maybe there is. Project Constitution. But my point is, if she's been dating this guy since Charlie died or even before, that would go to motive. That is what concerns me. Shows she was never really grieving, did not love Charlie. Project, I agree with you. If she was dating this guy before, obviously there's a problem there. I'm not making that claim. I'm not making the claim she's dating him afterwards. I'm only making the claim they've shown up together in various places on the record, and their planes or planes they frequent tend to show up at the same places a lot. Hello to my humble host. Oh, hello. My God, still on vacation with my B withdrawals. My B. Caught up on all pods and member shows and wanted to pitch in and say thank you. Christ is king indeed. P.S. Yes, Erika's flights are very busy. So where the heck are her kids? That's a great question. I don't know if they're on the flights or not. After hearing the stuff about Blake, I think we should revisit the episode where you talked about the car that Blake Neff drove. I forgot about that too. Oh gosh, Blake, I owe you an apology. He's on my screen over here. You guys can't see. Blake, I apologize. I shouldn't have gone after your car. But it doesn't surprise me that, check this out. This doesn't surprise me that this would catch his attention. This is one of his posts on X. He shared his breakfast here. El Rancho Hotel, favorite of movie stars doing location shoots during Hollywood's golden age. So, of course, we all ate. All the burgers and drinks are named after them. I got the Reagan burger, which comes with a small side of jelly beans. It doesn't surprise me at all that Blake would be fascinated by a burger that came with jelly beans. He looks like the type that would love a burger with jelly beans. If we're being honest. I don't think Blake can do a lot of pull-ups or push-ups or squats or even light jogging. One, Edge. It's understood she'll move on, but mere weeks after Charlie Kirk's alarming departure is sus and tacky. If she did, we don't know. If she dearly loved Charlie, she wouldn't even be emotionally capable of courting more than two. Oh, well, I'll check it out. It gives Serial K vibes because these incels have that same instinct to drain the life force of others because they have none. Wow, you guys are harsh. You guys are harsh. What is? Oh, we've got time. We have time. Two. Oh, Edge, here's your next one. Not to mention her travel, appearances, and social life. She's a full fraud regarding Charlie Kirk. Well, that's your opinion, and I don't think it's unfounded. Yeah, I don't think it's unfounded. Oh, we have plenty of time. Suficiente. We're barely getting started. Car's just getting broken in. Blake may be in love with Candace. Oh, no! He might be. You know those people who love people and they can't have them, so they get mad and angry? And they start running them down? Oh, you may be on to something. Blake. You sly dog. You sly dog. Look into NDAA, section 224. Merges our military with Izzy's military. Is that the right section? I thought it was a different one. Good reporting. How do you think this reflects on Charlie? He hired the man in the first place with full access to his postings. Well, it's not an ideal situation. I'll say that. I mean, I'll be honest, it's not an ideal situation. Particularly in light of what one of the other commenters said, that Crystal gal, Crystal Clinton, she got fired for texting, not even posting publicly, texting something. Men like Neff get angrier when minorities reject them because in the man's mind, they're settling. They think those women should be grateful. Oh, wow. That's a dark, twisted turn. Who was in the pic Blake showed EK at White House Correspondents' Dinner? I think I can tell you. Hang on. I've got it buried in my text messages somewhere. I'm not going to look for too long. See if I can find it quickly. Oh, please. Oh, this is the thread it's in. Let me see if I can scroll back. Oh gosh. Oh, there it is. Maybe I'll cover that tomorrow. I do have that answer somewhere in here. I'm sorry, I just don't have the time to do it right now. It's buried deep in the text. It was less than a year before Charlie Kirk was murdered that Charlie told a lunatic that was hassling him about Candace speaking at Amfest to lose his number. Yeah. Edge, back for more. Blake Neck Speed reminds me of Brian Kohlberger. Oh, no. I agree with you. Oh, no. Thank you for loving blue hairs. Anytime, Granny Pam. Granny Pam, you're the one that sent me the gift. You're the one that sent me the gift. I'm pretty sure. I'll have to go back and check. It's not in here. I think it was you. And if it was, thank you. It was lovely. Absolutely lovely. Absolutely lovely. And I do love the blue hair. You know what Benjamin Graham said? All cats are gray in the dark. I was almost said I kid, but I don't. I hope this lady takes action against Blake Neff. Christ is king indeed. What act? Well, I don't know that there's an action other than like calling him out for being a creeper. I'm physically ill over all the money they need to raise. They turn around and spend 4 times my disability due to work injury on private planes. People should not donate to TPUSA. Congrats, Granddad. I agree with everything you said. And I too am physically ill. Christ chooses all people, not just some. Was that in dispute, Zamet? I don't recall that being in dispute. FYI, my favorite people live in Tennessee. My cuz lives in Clarksville. You, Candace, Mark Splain, just got to see Chase Matthew in concert on Friday. He mentioned Nashville. Well, Tennessee's dope. Keep going. Theo Vaughn. Oh, gosh. Brett Cooper's here. What are some of them other podcasters? Jason Whitlock is here. I know I'm forgetting somebody. Like Podcast Alley over here. It's great. I love Steve Wynn. I was on the very first crew of massage therapists that opened up the Wynn Hotel, later became Mr. Wynn's personal therapist. And when I moved to Montana, he would fly me in from time to time to work on him. I don't doubt he was a gem. This is not a knock on Steve Wynn. I hope no one's interpreted it that way. I know nothing about him. I do know this fall from grace at the end, but that, again, I don't judge people by their lowest moments. Except Blake Neff. I judge him only because it's insistent, persistent, and lasts a decade. But no, I know nothing about him, so I don't doubt he's a gem. I take your word for it, Monty. Blake seems to have money, so he is Erika's type. BN work with Marine Corps in wargaming exercises too. That's what I heard. That's the rumor. How could anyone donate to TPUSA when they know their money is largely going to help all them fly on private jets all over the place? Sickening. Yeah, there are times they take 3 or 4 private jets places. That's like a $500,000 round tripper. I just, in my opinion, that seems excessive. Hi, Baron. Fiji bottled water owned by an interesting company. Oh, don't go after my water. Don't go after my water. I love this water. I did find another water I think I like more, but it comes in glass bottles and it's expensive. I can't remember the name of it, but when I had it, I was calling it goat water to my wife. I was like, let's get some more of that goat water. But I can't afford to get very much of it. Let's see if I can find it. It's called Mountain Valley. That water's great. Holy mackerel. It's good water. I called it goat water. Then I went to the store to buy some. It's like $4 a bottle, but it's good. You can only get it occasionally. Special occasion water. Like everybody else is drinking booze, go get you a Mountain Valley. Go get you a Mountain. But don't go after my Fiji water. It's affordable and tasty. Remember, you can maximize comments on screen. Yes, but my eyes are good tonight. I slept well. I took a nap. You feel it strange? Find it strange that Erika referred to herself as a single mom instead of a widow. Another sign their marriage was on the rocks, IMO. Yeah, it's a little different. But I mean, the reality is the same. I want to be such a good dog. Needs adoption. Oh, was it Michaela? We got a candidate. We got a candidate. Black Dog 128 in the hunt. Oh, we're going to make matches. Where did Harvey and Deborah go? Charlie Kirk met Korean pastor who turned himself into jail. Butch Hibbs' brother, Jack, has extensive and close relationships with that pastor and family. Congrats, Grandpa Barron. Oh, is that what they were doing in Korea? Is hanging out with Jack Hibbs' associates? Oh, well, that's even more terrifying. That's even more terrifying. Next, you're going to tell me some of these jets flew into Heber City. Steve Wynn was always a gentleman with me. I believe it, Monty. I believe it. From a very different generation, and say in any innocent flirtation, I always put in that context, never mean or aggressive, and very respectful. Sweet flirtation, nothing more. I didn't even accuse him of flirting. You did. You're the one that said it. I think he was a perfect gentleman to you, Monty. If anyone truly interested in what these morons at TPUSA think, it's beyond embarrassing at this point. Love being part of this high IQ outfit and appreciate all you and Daisy are doing. Christ is king indeed. And God bless. But Baron, I've been a daily watcher for a year at least, and this is my first live show to be a part of. I'm super grateful for all you do, and I pray God's blessing upon you and your family. Christ is king indeed. Thank you. This is very kind. Did both necklace and ring break? Sent email. Don't be mad. Sorry. I don't have to look at your email. The necklace broke. The ring was a hinge, so it fell off. So I don't need to look at your email. Baron, not a single advert. Have they demonetized you in advance tonight? What the heck? Regarding Holy Trinity Sunday best songs from the old days. They all came right back to me from grade school. No, it could be the I don't know. I mean, let me look and make sure it's on. I think it is. It says it's on. I do know the way the monetization works, depending on what ads they have in rotation, if your profile, I looked into this. If your profile isn't one of the ones they're targeting, you get lucky. If it is, God help you. You better buy YouTube Premium. Baron, does anyone find it weird that the Y Refi guy is a sponsor and they're pushing to refinance college student loans? Something about that feels suspicious to me, targeting vulnerable youth. I've never looked into the company. I don't know. Is it a shady company? Shady company. I don't know. Now, I will say I refinanced my student loans when I got out of law school. I mean, I think it's pretty normal to consolidate. Let me ask you a question. No, I'm not going to ask the question. Dang it. Boy, do I want to. Edge, not positive, but I believe Allie has drone images. Unsure of origin. She has several sources. Well, if it was drones deployed from a Hades plane, we don't have the images because they would not have released those publicly. Should always be a widow. Black widow. Allegedly. Thank you. Yes, treat men like dogs. Sans Alpo. Yeah, no Alpo. My husband gets farmer's dog. This is Miss Julie, a.k.a. Gigi. Someone from jury said, if married pre-baby, then I get grandma status. Thanks for all supporting me. Love you. I didn't know all the rules, Gigi. I was unaware of the rules. You can also export flight data into Excel and then create various charts to easily see the visual points to which you referred. And Baron, any proof of life for the amazing Mikey McCoy? Just oddly no mention of it anywhere since CO outed him. He was on the Charlie Kirk show one day, but he didn't say a lot, for being honest. He just sort of sat there and had a weird look on his face. Can we call her Dr. Curtains from now on? Yes. Oh, well, people might think we're saying something, but yes, we can. Yes, we can. How do these people sleep at night? 2, does anyone have any morals anymore? Oh, first, I don't know. 2, does anyone have any morals anymore? Yes, some people. 3, my heart breaks for Charlie's kids. Agreed. How's Granddaddy doing? Swimmingly. Christ is king indeed. Indeed. Great comment. Covered a lot of ground in one comment. Keep having dreams and day-to-day thoughts that Charlie's alive, but captive somewhere. I know that sounds extremely insane and stupid. Captive? Yeah, that's kind of wild. Visiting Palm Beach Pete, are they? I love the Palm Beach Pete story. I can't get enough of it. I've watched every Palm Beach Pete video there is. Jesse did several. Nate did a good one. Matt at Trigger Smart's done some. I love the Palm Beach Pete video. Make sure you check things that are sent and know where they're from before giving it to the bub. There's some sick people out there. Stay cautious. Yeah, but that's Granny Pam. It's Granny Pam. LOL is a 1962 movie. Sandra D. Bobby Darin. If she uses a dog training book to train her husband. Oh, well, sounds like a great. Look at me, I'm Sandra D. That's from Greece. Love you more, Kathy. I didn't know that was the premise of a Bobby Darin movie. My wife likes Bobby Darin a lot. She knows all the songs. I only know a couple. You're the man, Baron. Thank you. I haven't missed an episode since the Google Analytics days. I listen to you while I'm herding cattle with a thermal drone in Western Queensland, Australia. I debrief my wife daily. I'm not going to touch that. That last part, I'm going to let that go. I'm going to assume it means you let her know what the program was about. Robert. But thank you. Herding cattle with a thermal drone. Ooh, farming's come a long way. A long way since Lonesome Dove. Appreciate all the hard work and time you put into your podcast. Want to say thank you. New intro is so much better, by the way. Straight gangster. I tend to agree. Hey, B, perhaps EK was referring to herself when mentioning longtime girlfriend about to be his wife, or her attempt to manifest it. Just a thought. Christ is king and much love. Yeah, I should mention that Erika and Blake both denied the reporting from Project Constitution, vehemently denied. So take it for what it's worth. TP Action is the political org, different from TPUSA. Agreed. But you know that the political org's actions, 501c4s, they cannot spend 100% of their money. I want one of these so badly. I had to get a little flavor. They can only spend half their money on politics. The other half has to go into general education, or something else, or charitable means. And 501c3s can't spend any money on politics. And one would be hard pressed to argue that they don't. When she endorsed JD Vance in front of a TPUSA logo at a TPUSA 501c3 event. Late to the show, but just found out today churches are using an AI Charlie Kirk after he died, saying he was okay and would do it again. Shocked no one's talking about that since the video debate last night. What? I hope that's not true. That's disgusting. Erika denying the canoodling with Blake Wynn is the weirdest part. Like, ma'am, seems like this is more than plausible reality, especially hearing all the other possible overlap with travel in the past. Look, she's denying it. That's all I can say. I can only report facts. I can't report opinion. I have opinions, but I can only report the facts. BW said, other than my wife, before anything else. Blake Wynn doesn't have a wife. Internet sleuths activated. Blake Neff. Fellas, non-ex doctor. Sounds like a dream. No Blake Neff. Non-ex doctor. I don't know what that means, fellas. In Alabama, McFeeders is challenging Tuberville for governor. One complaint is that Tuberville lives in Florida. SPLC indicted by FBI for manufacturing hate, forced to testify before Congress. Greatest ally ties. Hoax. I saw polling out of Alabama here recently. I can't see Tuberville losing that race. It was like 80% Tuberville. So I just don't think he'll lose. I don't know about the forced to testify business. Is it confirmed Erika's OBGYN died of natural causes? I've actually never looked into it. The only thing I know about it is that one time someone sent a podcast or maybe sent me a link or something to a podcast where they discussed he died. I don't know. Why do we care? Are we suggesting they're not his kids? I mean, is that kind of the suggestion, I guess? But I'm not, I don't know. I don't put much stock into that. I mean, people die. People die. You become a member. You don't have to worry about being unsubscribed. Oh, well, then everybody should join. It's a great way to support the program anyway. And we do have fun on the member shows. So essentially, she's like a Black Widow. Well, allegedly, in your opinion. Of course, she grieves differently. Most ex-spouses come out alive. Christ is king indeed. Indeed. The fact that Blake was hired tells much about Charlie. Everyone in his circle is sketchy. He was no saint himself. His true life is a cautionary tale. I do think it's weird that he was hired. I'll be honest with you. I still mourn my dog after 6 years. Oh. So you're saying she's a monster. Christ is king indeed. It's a long time. I mean, I'm okay with it, but that's a long time. Charlie and Erika had no children. They don't exist. The kids do exist. I have pictures of them. And they look like her. They look just like her. I do have pictures. Actually, well, I think it'll be tomorrow night. I think I have the picture with the finger over it. I think I have the real picture. And they're not her kids. Not the boy or the girl. You know, they've given up on the boy. They know there's not the boy. That's not the girl either. And when I show you the picture, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Not her kids. Baron, I've been following the drama between Candace and Blake on X. I wish I had the screenshot. The second post Blake had made. Now it seems like it's been deleted. Did you happen to catch it? Christ is king indeed. I don't know. I don't remember if I saw it or not. It would have helped if you'd have told me what it was about. I jar the old canoodle. Not arguing. You had commented that, well, she did at least these 4. I didn't get to clarify then. Erika is a phony and insult to all women who've actually led for real. Bad example for young and older women alike. Again, your opinion, and you guys are hard on her. And I frankly don't blame you. Don't blame you at all for being hard on her. What can we do? Also, who says about to be engaged? Usually a surprise. Well, they're not really. They get their nails done and they invite the family and they have photographers. Guys, don't be romantic about the way it used to be where the woman didn't know. They all know now. They all know. I mean, they know. Hey, Baron, I want to let you know that I've emailed you a proposed constitutional amendment for your review. I won't look at it. I mean, to be honest with you, I have no interest in looking at a proposed constitutional amendment. The podcasts are all talk about explore potential approaches to fix our political system. Seek truth on CK. I encourage you to pursue that. That is not something I have time to do. And I'm not knocking you. I think it's great work. And I'm sure there are a lot of people who would love to look at it, but I'm so busy. Like reviewing constitutional amendments is not on my radar. So I apologize. But Christ is king indeed. Do we have a parasite situation at TPUSA, such as in the USA? Oh, of course. Brand is a widow. I can't give EK a pass before a year. Oh, well, Susan. I don't know that she needs a pass yet. That's not my story. I'm not saying she needs a pass. I'm only commenting on what's publicly known. What could be publicly known if people looked. Hi, Granddad. My papa was my best friend, hero, and I miss him every day. I know you'll be your granddaughter's hero too. Different note, could someone have re-energized Blake's chat to have fresh blackmail on Neff? I doubt it. Wonder if Blake Wynn recorded the infamous I want to go home footage. Only an intimate partner holds the purse. Christ is king. I want to say he walked out next to her on that footage, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think I have time right now to pull it up, but I think in that video he can be seen walking out with her. New tool. Cue the popcorn. Oh, yeah, this tool is going to be dope. You have no idea what this is capable of. It's amazing. Erika will date when the time is right. Oh, come on. Edge. Blake needs to move back to mama's basement. Edge is on fire tonight. Oh, Blake knows what he's getting into. We don't know that he's getting into anything, guys. This is all speculation. Oh, this is not speculation. I'm not even speculating. Regardless who she... Oh... I want truth and justice for Charlie Kirk. Yeah, I agree with that part. Wasn't EK seen at a game with a guy shortly after CK passed? Can't find the post anywhere, but I know I remember it. I want to say that guy was security, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. I thought he was a security guy. Cheers to you and my hubby, too. First grandbaby girl coming in August. How about that, Pink Door Elite? The best is yet to come. Big fans in Oklahoma. Katie and Tony. Team Topocino. Oh, you like Topocino water. That's fine water. I don't like bubbles in my water if I can avoid it. It tastes like your arm's falling asleep. Like it tastes like it should taste good and then it doesn't when it has bubbles in it. When it's still smooth, it's got good taste to it. But when it's fuzzy, it's like, and then you're waiting for that like soda sweetening. And it's not there. Not there. Gasp. What? Michelle Malkin's niece is missing. Oh, has she been missing? Oh, you're saying because she's Asian. Oh, you sly dog. I don't know. We should find out. Love your show, Baron. You are my favorite podcaster. With the principal, a close second. Shh. She might be watching from Ruski land. I'm a retired Philadelphia lawyer, disabled, but if you send me an assignment, I'll see what I can do. Christ is king indeed, Deep Esquire. I don't need any legal work. Another awesome one, Lori Cardoza Moore is in Tennessee as well. We don't claim her. We'll let Florida claim her since she has an address down there. Okay, hi, IQ ladies. No one else clocked Blake Wynn's Barry White voice? Oh, you are one for the deep voice, are you, huh? Huh? They got you going? Was it just Korea? I thought Japan too. Egyptian plane guy was Egyptian ambassador to Japan. I don't know. I thought it was just Korea. Was it also Japan? I mean, they're right there, kind of looking at each other. At least on a map, they look like they are. Probably like hours away. Regarding iPhone photos in chat, click on name on top. There will be a spot to click photos. As a crocheter, I'd love to see your 7-year-old's work sometime. We'll probably arrange that. I don't know about you talking about the iPhones in the chat. That's above my pay grade. Crowder, Solomon, Hannity, Benny reported a foreign component on 9/10. Benny said it was pro-hit with state actors, but no foreign investigation. Yeah, it's weird how quickly they abandoned that. Saw a video of someone that looked like Blake Neff putting on surgical gloves in the background right before Charlie being banged. I have never seen that, and I can almost assuredly say that he was not, but I don't know. If you ever choose to expand your merch, I believe a shirt that says I kid would be fantastic. We often expand the merch. If you've not been to realbaronpodcast.com and clicked the merch and then click view all, because it only shows you like 5 or 6 pieces. Click view all when you get to the merch and it'll show you, I think, like a couple dozen pieces we're up to. So yeah, check it out. We should add an I kid. No doubt about it. Linda, thank you. Baron, just FYI regarding Bongina. Major investor got a significant stake, reportedly millions of shares in Rumble before its public listing in 2022. I know about Bongina. I knew he had a stake. Knowing what we know about Maxwell, McGraw-Hill, Freud, and education being a psyop, what are your thoughts on kids going to college now? I feel like I got duped and fell into peer pressure of spending money to be brainwashed. I think if you're going for a particular purpose, that can be great. Like you want to be an accountant, you got to go to college. You got to have the classes. You want to be a doctor, you got to go to college. I think, in my opinion, gone are the days of people just trying to find themselves or like just want the college experience. But if you want to be a nurse, you got to go to college. They're not going to let you nurse any other way. Oh, come on, Baron. You can't say, let me ask you a question and then back out. Ask the question. All of our minds are just curious yours. Oh, what did I ask? I can't remember what it was about. I can't remember. Oh, now I remember. I'm trying to think if it would betray my source. That's the problem I had. Now I'm thinking about it. Is there any other way I could have known this information? Let me ask my source about that. I don't know that person will care, but I don't want to betray somebody who told me something in confidence. I'm now sus about anyone named Blake or Tyler. I missed parts tonight, so maybe someone said this. A popular Juicy X Spaces group I listened to, Can't Stand Tulsi. They trashed her as DNI. Nobody said that. Awesome work, Baron. Tyler Boyer, Super Dark Man and Keeper of Secrets. He's in the shadows, needs to be deeply investigated. Well, we're on it. Baron, please send prayers. My family's in crisis and mental health is spiraling. We need all the prayers we can get. Christ is king indeed. I'm so sorry. Sam talks too much. Absolutely. We'll pray for you. Down in Australia, I see. I'll pray for you down there. I take umbrage. My husband surprised me 2021. Oh, it's 5 years ago. Romance was still alive. I'm late to the party. Definitely an accurate description of them standing at the curb after the show. Timestamp 206. Great show, Baron. Go Max. Christ is king indeed. Well, I do my best. I can't promise perfection, but I can promise my best every time. Passed my first semester of RN school. Everybody give it up for Colin. First grandbaby on the way. Happy for you. Christ is king indeed. I'm happy for you. Sounds like you're rolling into success. Mountain Valley's the best. Source from Hot Springs, Arkansas. It is really good water. I don't know where it comes from. It is excellent. Excellent water. It's good water. I can taste the difference in water. I'm one of those people. I like Fiji. But man, that mountain spring, you get it cold, you've just never had water as good in your life. And this is not a paid promotion. I'm just telling you, I've recently had it for the first time and I was in love. I had it and I put it down. I was like, honey, this is goat water. She's like, goat water? I'm like, it's the greatest of all time. This is goat water. And so I finished the bottle. I was like, I got to go get some of that goat water. I had to go back and get more. And then I couldn't afford to get any more. Blake Neff's body is shaped like the inside of a lava lamp. Every now and then you guys really make me laugh. That's funny. He's got a little muffin top. Watching your live tonight is happy birthday to me. Happy birthday, Jesus wins for us. Thank you for being my evening birthday entertainment. Congrats on the new high IQ edition of the fam. She's so high IQ. I can tell already. What a precious gift from God. Jesus loves you, and so do we. Well, Jesus loves you, and so do I. Falsify evidence, destroy scene, lie, obfuscate, pretend. Fedslop motto. Needs a little tweaking, but a good start. Suggestions? No, I like it. I like it. Tucker said on his podcast he felt bad for Mr. Neff when he got fired, called in some favors to get him another job. Can't recall if Tucker said it was the Charlie Kirk show, but they were friends, so maybe. On the Charlie Kirk show, Tucker did say it was the Charlie Kirk show. He made it clear. Will you please check again? You said BW has no wife, but I thought I heard him say other than my wife at the very beginning of that podcast before he mentioned Erika. I'll check again, but I don't think he does. I think per Erika, he's about to be engaged. That's what she said. Oh, that's what she said. Yeah, I cracked myself up. That's what she said. I think that's accurate reporting. Go look at her X feed. Can your flight tracker track TPUSA views? I'm assuming half are from B and Candace fans, checking to see if they're going down. I don't know. I can't check. I can't track it from here. I mean, I can look at the back end analytics when the show's over. Southern Baptist here. Church Sunday morning, night jar, and Wednesday night. Night jar? What does night jar mean? Is that a Baptist term? Night jar? Night jar. Sunday morning, night jar, and Wednesday night. I believe you, night jar. Marsha. You're looking for a photo in your phone. Oh, I was trying to tell you how to find it, but it may not have been in iMessage. It was. Thank you. That's helpful. I'll go back and look. I'll be able to find it. I know roughly where it is. Well, it's not funny if you have to explain it. That lady doctor that commented on her personal stats, fellas, sounds like a dream, but no BN. No Blake Neff shaking my head. Oh. Well, that lady sounded like a dream. You guys need to take her up on it. Colleen, any ability to get in touch with Blakey's victim? Wonder what her response would be. Thanks for your reporting. Praying for your growing fam. Please pray for my back. I do pray for your back, Colleen. Hope you get, I was going to say back at it, but that's throwing back right back at it. So that's not ideal. Yeah, I mean, I know who she is, and I don't want to contact her. The girl's probably been through enough. My daughter passed the California bar on her first try. I heard it's a hard one. Congratulate Michaela Gibson Esquire. We both think you're terrific. I think she's terrific, and she'll make a fantastic lawyer. A very high IQ lawyer, if I do say so myself. Guys, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe. We will be rolling out some additional insights on that tool. But we have some other shows lined up as well. We have a document request pending. We were supposed to get back last week. We were told the lawyers had signed off on it. We were told it would be just the next day, and then the next day, and then the next day. It sounds like it's not something they want to give too easily. We will follow up on it. I think it'll be a good show when we get it. We'll be letting you know what it says, regardless of if it makes a good show or not. I think it will. But that's pending. And I can't thank you guys enough for chiming in. I want to be clear. I got to go back over this real quickly. I make no claims that Erika, Kirk, and Blake Wynn are in any kind of tryst. I have no idea. They both vehemently denied it. Take that for what it's worth. That's how reporting works. You find something that looks like a story, and then you get comment from the other side, and that's what's happened. They both vehemently denied it, and we will continue looking around because there's a lot of newsworthy items buried in all that data. That's why they don't want us looking at it. It's why they act like if you look at data from 6 months ago, it's somehow a threat to someone's security. It's not. There's no threat to someone's security from me looking at data from March of 2025. If they don't want you looking at it, then they might think there's something bad in it. And even if the bad is just they spend a bunch of money, they're like profligate spendthrifts. That might just be the bad, or it could be much, much worse. Much, much worse. But we'll let you know. We'll let you know what we find. All right. Couple things. One, you have to always remember that Jesus loves you dearly. Always remember Jesus loves you. Two, I'll be back tomorrow night. I don't know if I'll do a member show this week on Tuesday or Friday. I think it'll be Tuesday. Because I think I have an obligation Friday on another podcast. I'll let you know on that if that is indeed the case. I think it is. I think I agreed to do someone else's show Friday. If that's true, then I will be doing that Friday, and I'll be doing a member show Tuesday. I got a guest I'm trying to get lined up for that, waiting to hear back. So if you'll join me back here tomorrow, I sure would be appreciative. Guys, this is all we got. I hope you have a wonderful evening, morning, afternoon, whatever time you're listening, all over the world, because we're huge in the Balkans and apparently Australia as well, and other places around the globe. If you're one of those people, or above the flat spinning disc, if you're one of those people, or above the flat stationary disc, or above the flat four corners, or in between the ice wall, wherever you're listening, whatever you believe, I'm thankful you're here, and I'll talk to you soon. Thank you.